how I show up on time.
And
You,
blink.
you show up on time, and we're 3 minutes late.
I know, right? The
I
one
know. It's
time you
like I
show
got it. Yeah. If I show up at 8:29, you guys
Like you
are
already
already
cracked the
live.
beer too. You didn't even give. Just because we're 3 minutes late doesn't give you the right to open the beer.
Dude, I open it at 8.
Hey, my notifications are working.
I
You're
know,
not
right?
lying.
Does your beer say Shandy on it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you
I'm trying
find
to
these
force the
things,
summer
man?
here. You know, we had a great Memorial weekend, and we were going to go paddleboarding. We went camping, had a great time with some friends, but it rained like the whole weekend. We had a few hours of beautiful weather, and even whenever it was raining, the weather was just gorgeous. So it was a fun time. We went to a few breweries like I usually do, and then we checked out the lake and some like waterfalls, and went and just had some great food, good times, and camped and hung out. It was a good time.
Okay. Well, welcome to episode 79 of the Home Theater Hub. I was just waiting to beat you on that one. But it looks like we're lined up for an exciting show tonight. You know, we already rolled in making fun of Paul and his fruity, sandy, shandy beers. But it's good to have all of you join us tonight. We do have a special guest, one of us who's really, really a genius at what he does in the home theater space and also on YouTube. And I got my co-hosts, Don and Paul, and thank you for joining us. Now I'll pass it over to Don to do his thing.
I got to do my welcome everyone to the 79th edition of the Home Theater Hub. Right?
I don't know.
What's up, C-Big? Skylake in the house. Thanks for joining us a little bit early. Sorry we were a little bit tardy there, but trying to get some stuff organized here. But appreciate everyone joining again. C-Big in the house, like we said. But yeah, we got Ron on the show tonight. What's going on, Ron? How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on here. It's a pleasure. Thank you. This is my first podcast of hopefully many. So.
Man, you got the link now, so you got an open invite.
Interrupting Cal.
You got the invite whenever you want to come on and talk. Let's talk. I mean, you can even stream to your channel if you want.
Hey,
so
Ike, I'm learning.
No problem. So Ike, how was your week, sir?
It's been a good week. It's been a good week. Spent a bunch of time in the home theater doing home theater YouTube stuff, but got to rewatch what's it called? The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Okay.
Really, really good movie. I forgot how long that thing was. But it was good watching it and just look, I'll say this straight up. The Lumigen is an amazing device, man. Yeah.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly looked really good.
What's that? That's a 70s, early 80s?
Is it
I got to look 70s? That up now.
Yeah, it probably, I don't want to say 60s. No, it's not the 60s.
Actually, it is 60s. 66.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Was that in black and white?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very nice.
With
Very
Clint
nice.
Eastwood and Eli, is it Wallach or whatever, how you pronounce his last name?
I thought I gave it. I was dating it a little bit later. I thought it was in the 70s, but yeah.
I figured it was kind of maybe older. I thought maybe early 70s, but mid 60s, yes. Yeah, it came out around the same time with a lot of those classics that we had from there, right?
So what you working on in the theater, video wise? Are you under embargo?
No embargoes, but I don't want to kill the fun for some of the other stuff. But nothing. I'm not working on it.
We know you're working on the Lumigen.
I'm working on the Lumigen, right? Yes, that one is a fantastic device, and
Tony just put out a nice video on the Lumigen too.
I know, right? Yeah, I saw that too.
I would just copy and paste. Like,
I don't know.
I edit your face and just be like, "Yo, what up?"
I can just ask him to send me his files, right? And I can just edit it myself and
just put you as a joke. You should just paste your face over his and make sure you keep the beard and read.
Yeah, like, what do you think about this thumbnail? It's like, that's not my stuff.
Yeah, but yes, it is. Tony's a really great guy.
Absolutely.
He breaks these things down really, really good. So I'm pretty sure he covers it really well. And but the device is great.
Yeah, he did a good job on that. I look forward to seeing yours too, because you always have a slightly different take than others. So you point out some of the stuff that a lot of people don't dive into. But yeah, no, I look forward to seeing that.
Trouble, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So Paul, how about you? How we heard a little bit about your camping. Any work in the theater or any news in the theater?
Yeah, I'm doing what I had mentioned last week after the crawl, and I am repositioning my Atmos speakers. I drilled the wire holes in the ceiling, pre-drilled the mounting holes in the ceiling, went up and measured the stud width so I can cut some
roof should be 24 on center, right?
I mean, yeah, if if you know someone that builds out of metal, that always is different. And if you cut it too short by a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, you got a floppy. Anyways, I went up there, measured, and you always want to do that. And plus, for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, there's one section, and this is why you do this, where it has planked plywood on mounted on each side, and I don't know if that was just to capture insulation or what, but so the studs are 24-inch centers, but they're sandwiched or with plywood on both sides on all the studs on that one side, so it's not actually the same width of what you would think. So that one's shorter. So, and I also found out, or remembered, I guess, in this section, my studs are going one way, and I have a 12-foot ceiling, and then where one of the speakers is mounting is actually going to be at the 8-foot section, but that's right up against that wall. So I can't take screws and just drill into the sides and mount my, what I'm going to do is a brace that I can put the speaker, firmly into. I'll have to get L brackets so I can just drop it in there, and then I'll pre-attach the L brackets, and then I'll drop that.
You could do some deck joists for that, right?
Some what?
Some of the decking joists. They're U-shaped. Just nail them in, and you drop the board right in there.
Yeah. Just however whatever's easiest for you.
Probably be easier to do that way. Yeah.
I'm just gonna do little L brackets, so I can just drop it right in. I'll have to move the insulation out of the way, drop it in, and then just put 4 screws. Because the L brackets are to be mounted. I have a pocket full of screws, and then once the base is there, that'll be strong enough to be able to stand on. So a 30-pound speaker, 20-pound speaker isn't going to be anything. And I'm using 2x10s. That way it's wide enough.
Wide enough
to mount. And another thing, whenever I went up there, it's close to a can light, but just how it lined up. One of it's literally right on the stud, because the studs aren't perfect. And then the back side of it has a can light, so that I'm going to have to basically have it's going to be a 2x10, but I'm going to have to cut out a little section for the can light so it'll only have one L bracket on one side and then two on the other, but still it'll be more than strong enough to hold a.
And so let me ask you this: what are you using to determine your placement for your? Because you're going from essentially you call them Atmos, but you're essentially going from heights, right?
Yeah, I'm just putting them at like the 45-degree angle,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you bringing them farther? Are you bringing the back ones farther, or are they still going to stay where they are? Because I think I remember very much where you have.
So the back ones are going to be like literally, they're going to be right next to my projector, not like in front of it where I had them before.
So it's going to flank the projector.
Oh, so you're going from heights to top position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Basically, yeah. And I'm doing that because, like I said, amazing systems and everything, and everyone that I noticed the Atmos, like clearly noticed without knowing, or even movies that I've heard before, like it wasn't like distracting, but it added like, oh man, that sounded, it's just like you knew it was part of the scene and it went along with it without having to, oh, does that have Atmos? Kind of like whenever I was at Ryan's and, heard the wides, I literally was like, okay, that sounded like wides. I've never heard that. That was amazing. The laser beam went across the screen and it literally followed all the way, kind of like you could hear it, do its thing and its damage over to the side, like in front of you. And I was like, whoa, that was cool. And I had to look it up because I was like, was I just imagining that? And sure, it was a movie that was recorded with front wides. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay. And that's kind of the same experience with some of the placement of the Atmos speakers was, the ones that I noticed Atmos better was at that 45-degree angle, even though, speaking of, even though Chana and everybody's like, oh, you got to do heights, right? Which I'll probably still program them as heights, if that makes sense. But I'm telling you, I experienced 5 different high-end theaters. Like these are not, one of them was $1 million,
Yeah.
And what I noticed was the ones that I noticed the height effects or the Atmos was at that 45-degree angle.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the sweet spot that Dolby recommends that we have up here. So hey Chana, what's up? I just want to let me stop sharing this real quick because I do want to, since Chana's in here, I've been meaning for 2 weeks now to
pay him back.
To thank Chana for getting this out to me. So really appreciate you guys send Spatial Audio sending this over to me. Can't wait to put this in and really start messing with it and diving into it. I'm definitely going to do a review on this. And if you guys don't know, make sure that you go over to, let me see where I'm at here.
Now,
go over to the Spatial Audio group and purchase this particular calibration toolkit.
If you actually pay for it, you get a signature.
Look at you showing off.
Yeah, like look at that. Look at that.
Look at everybody showing off.
I just want to say, whenever Chana becomes a famous recording artist,
showing off how big your toolkit is.
DJ, I've got his signature.
So take the day. I'm gonna open this.
He said, "Open that shrink wrap and stick it in." Yeah. So I did have a special note too. It said, "Thank you from the Spatial Audio, everyone at Spatial Audio." So I just took the sticker off, but no, thanks.
Hey, mine is in the theater.
Sure. Yeah.
Mine is in the theater where it's actually supposed to be at. So
I use the digital. I use the digital copy. I use the digital download that's available also when you.
I did too.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna rip it to my NAS. That way it'll be capable of me just pop using it on a Zapedi or whatever. Or I'd say Zapedi or Evolution, because that's the player that I'm using. But that way I can just go to it. But yeah, no, I'm gonna. I've been working on the theater again for me, so I've pretty much torn it apart again. Maybe if we got time, maybe we'll do a quick walkthrough. But I've started doing the blocking for the fabric walls. So literally purchased 50 2x4s, and I'm going to be using a 1-inch fabric track on top of the 2x4s to create my pattern for the fabric walls and put everything behind. Put all this, all the acoustic treatments and the speakers will all be hidden behind, except for the rear speakers. So those will all be hidden behind, and then I'll be working on the front stage, to get all that boxed in and everything else like that. But yeah, so that's what I was doing. But I did get to partake in a really, really good movie. So let me show you what we got here. Hold on. Where is it at? There it is, right there. Civil War. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this movie yet. Not only was it a good movie and a good it was a different perspective. It was about photographers filming actual war. But you want to talk about Atmos and the soundtrack itself? Man, it started off just a little bit slow, and Skylake says that he fell asleep. And I actually did the same thing. And I fell asleep for like the first 5 minutes.
Man, you guys aren't promoting this.
Listen. But
I had it in my cart twice and dumped it twice.
I'm telling you, I went back and I fell asleep. I was tired, right? I went back, and I'm telling you what, the sound in this movie is very, very good. I actually got woken up by the bass and the gunfire and stuff like that, and I was like, man, that sounded good. So I went back and rewound it, and once I took my little 15-minute cap now, and let me tell you, I started this movie at 12 o'clock at night. So and I had it on probably negative 20. My mother-in-law's right above me, and the subwoofers were getting a workout, and she said she couldn't even hear a thing, which means that I did a good job isolating the sound.
So we would just say you don't have enough bass.
That is true. Well, yeah, I have enough, but the fact of the matter is I didn't want to go terribly loud. But yeah, so so I would highly recommend that. So Skylake says he's going to go back and rewatch it. I would. I definitely recommend it. It was really good. Blackjack says it's a great film.
Okay.
So yeah, it was really good. The surround sound was excellent all around. Paul, have you seen this one?
We have it, but we haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen that movie at all.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about it if it wasn't for you mentioning it. I forgot you mentioned to me whenever we were talking once, I think.
Yeah, I think we were talking the other day. Yeah, no, but yeah, no, it's definitely good. And like I said, I was that's the only movie that I got for this week. But I have been working pretty heavily in the theater, trying to get the blocking up, and I got to order fabric and the fabric track and diffusers and WLEDs and cob lighting and all that fun stuff. So I can't wait to get all that done. So how about you? I'm sorry.
I was saying you have your layout set.
Yeah. I got it. I mean, I pretty much have it set out to how I want. I'm going to. I was using some painter's tape to try to get how I want it all set up. But I only have the back wall left to block out. So once I get that done. So how about you, Ron? Anything going on in the theater this week?
Building wise, no. I've been working on a video a couple days, so I think maybe this weekend I'll get done with it. Maybe at least filming it. I don't know about editing it. Might take a little while, so I'm still working my way through the editing process and things like that. So I think this is gonna be my first kind of demo clip video that I've done. You know what I'm saying? And talking to Paul, talking about Atmos and Atmos effects. This is what this demo list is going to be dedicated to, not the bass movies. We all know which ones have the great bass, and some of these on this list is going to be ones about, and it's probably going to be a couple of you might have to go check out. But that's what I was looking for: the nuances and the usage of the overhead, not just specifically overhead, but overhead and surround together. So that's kind of what the focus was on the ones that I did pick. And some of them you're going to know and, understand why I kind of chose those. But it's not going to be the bass heavy tracks. I know what the bass heavy demos sound like and you can get the wow factor. But if you're looking for some films to get people involved in what's going on overhead, if you want that person to look up and look around every now and then, these are the clips that you want to show them. This one of these things, these are the movies that you go, oh, so not to take you out of the movie, they don't last that long, but those are the ones, like you said, you're talking about when you hear the height channels and you actually get some effect from it. These are the kind of clips that I'm kind of put together a little video for. So
yeah, that's good.
A couple days on it.
So those of you that don't know, Ron has a channel on YouTube called Genius Home Theater. He's currently sitting at 584 subscribers. So if you guys can go over and subscribe to his channel and show him some love.
Show me some love. Give your boy a sub. Thank you.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. All that good stuff, right? So, and then also Ron has started a new group, Home Theater on YouTube, on Facebook. So
that's not confusing at all. Like, what's in this? Man.
So tell us what the concept of this is.
The concept is because we have the Facebook groups that we probably all are part of, most of all, and it gets kind of, you understand the rules that they have about not marketing yourself and not marketing your YouTube channel on those platforms because it belongs to them. And they don't want to get them flooded by that type of traffic. I get it, so I'm guilty of that too. When I first had my YouTube, I'm like, how am I gonna get people to see it? I know where everyone is, what I'm saying? So here, and I couldn't do it, or, I kind of try to back up off of it a little bit. But here is where creators will post it or be able to post their videos. And of course, viewers alike would join this group as well. If you're just a spectator, if you're a spectator, you join the group to see all of these YouTube videos with or about home theater stuff all compiled in one place. So if you're a creator, you dump your videos there. If you're a spectator, then that's the one place where you're going to go and see, things about home theater. Not, I'm doing this in my room today. No, it's going to be a video 9 times out of 10 that you're going to be, watching or seeing. You're allowed to make posts there as well about your upcoming stuff about your channel. It's fully promoting you. So I don't care, so it's where you could go to promote your videos as a YouTube creator without having to worry about, certain things that right now, currently, you can only post once a week. Somebody, if you posting your old videos every day, I didn't want that to kind of happen. So I say, hey, post a video every week. And, if you wanted to make another post, you can do that up to twice a week,
Okay.
Things in reference to your channel.
So while you're talking about that, you got a pending post on there. Go on and approve it now, admin.
How long has it been there?
No, I
About 5
I
seconds.
about 5. I just posted a live stream since we have you as a guest on this. So go on your page and approve that.
There
as
There
you.
you go. That's awesome.
Let me see
Yeah,
if I
and the
can
same thing goes with Horizon Home Theater. We have a group, our group page also. We haven't really promoted it too much, but same thing goes for there. If you guys want to post, any creators that are listening, if you want to post your videos or whatever there, we have no problem with that. The only thing that I ask is that if you're selling something, let's talk about it before you post it.
Well, is
stuff
it
like that.
so? Is this
I don't care if you marketplace your own stuff, but if you're like running a business, to just let's just talk about it first.
yeah,
before we
this to
post.
support, this the smaller community, which anything under like several 100,000 subscribers technically is a small community in the YouTube.
Mhm.
Is this restricted to, like, let's just say some company, like, I mean, we know some of the obvious, where do you draw the line, right? Because it could just be like spam, like, oh, buy my
Right.
whatever, blah, 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 blah things that obviously if it's not audio related.
Yeah, I mean, I had some people trying to sell like the big DJ speakers with the lights that go on them or whatever on our
Yeah,
group and,
and
and,
I
and
can
stuff like
see,
that.
that.
I let it go for a little while, but it was like getting to be a little bit too much on there. So,
Yeah, once it get
Yeah.
that, I think is my point is if it's someone doing it, I think I would let it go. But if it's a bot and you have some API script that's just
mhm.
market our stuff automatically to this link, it's like, yeah, no. If it's a person, yeah, all day long. But yeah, if it's an obvious annoyance and it's a bot, like, I subscribed to something here not too long ago. I forgot what it was. It was a coffee product that I was interested in, right? And I was like, oh, okay, I'll subscribe with my text to get like a coupon or whatever. And I ended up finding it cheaper just directly on Amazon after shipping calculated in. So I was like, they sent me 2 messages in one day via text. I was like, nope, stop, block, report spam. I was like, no, F you. Like, no, like once a week at most is a company allowed to friggin' message me. And that is if I am actively interested and looking at the product.
Yeah.
If I'm not actively interested, once a month. I wish these corporations would figure that out. It's like once a month, because all I'm going to do is just block your email and report it junk.
You can try to unsubscribe, but it never works.
Yeah.
I got a couple choice emails that I know it coming at least twice a day, and I cannot unsubscribe and try it. I was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna live with this forever.
Just mark them as spam. If you mark them as spam, you won't ever see them.
Every day, twice a day, go straight to junk, and it still comes to like. I was like, I thought your phone's supposed to be smart enough to recognize I'm sending this to junk every day to just take it and direct it to junk, but it doesn't. So
So how does Master Lessons get one of your shirts?
Oh man, this is a original. I had a person on Fiverr create this. On Copyright. Saying it was my concept, and I was like, hey, I need something to wear on my video. So that's what it was. I made 2 T-shirts. This one and a gray one, and they messed up the gray one twice, so 3 times. So I have 4 shirts with 2 of the gray ones are kind of missing something in there, but I still wear them, kind of deal, But
yeah, I know about
just original, but I don't. I'm not big enough yet. Maybe one day, I'll
man, that's how you get big, man. People
is that how you do it?
Wearing your shirt.
You gotta start promoting, man.
That's free advertisement.
Like this shirt, hey man, I like the logo too, man.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it too. I like the idea.
This is a concept of have you ever seen one of my videos? I haven't used the intro and the outro very much in the video, but I've used it maybe twice. Like when I'm building something or doing something like that, I use the intro that I had someone make as well. And it's basically a concept of kind of how I wanted to do it. Well, kind of how I see myself. Is this the guy walks on the screen and then he says, the brawn, right? And this guy, this muscles, right? And then he kind of walks away, and then the head pops open, the hat pops off, and the brain comes out, and it says the brains. You know what I'm saying? And then I end up chasing this brain that has this electrical cord hooked onto it with this projector, you know. So because sometimes I get out of body and I'm in my space and I'm thinking, I'm like, what if I did that? You know, and we all do it, and we sit there and we're brainstorming in our space or whatever. And I'm like, where did that idea come from? Same thing with some of the guys at work. They'd be like, how you think it? Where did this come up? I say, man, I don't know. Sometimes they just pop in my head, and then something just comes out that's good, you know. So that's how I kind of feel like sometimes, you know. So
That just reminds me of, I know you guys watch Pinky and the Brain.
I've heard of that. I don't remember.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to watch Pinky.
No,
One is a genius, the other is insane.
Yeah, it's like all it's mashed together. You know what I'm saying? It's
brain.
So Master Lesson says you'll get there, Ron. I mean, shoot, I think you're getting there. You're getting there already. I got only 807 subscribers. I've been doing this for quite some time, for about 4 years now. I mean, I don't put out a bunch of videos, but you're almost at 600.
If you would have finished the theater in the first 3, you probably would have made.
Oh yeah, when he makes that theater, man.
When the theater, I was actually talking to the wife the other day. I was like, do I move my studio in there once I'm ready? You know, once it's, you know, do I set the camera up in there? Yeah, I think
that'd
so.
be cool. You know, instead of having a green screen of your theater, like, nah,
yeah, man,
do the real thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
thinking about it.
Like I said, the outro is the same. Finish what I'm talking about. The outro is I come back in the end and I catch the thing, and then I kind of put them back in my head, you know, and then I kind of walk off, you know.
Chana's
cheesy, but you know, it's the concept. Yeah.
Chana, I was confused because something happened and all of his
messages vanished.
And then now he's back. I'm like, what the hell happened? Did you block him accidentally? I've never seen that before.
I got put in a weird timeout. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was like, what?
These messages are still there.
Yeah.
Oh, you can
on
my channel.
Oh.
On YouTube, they all disappeared.
Maybe YouTube just tracked the way he was put in the message and like probably spam. It's probably
he said he got put in a timeout.
Yeah.
He got put in a timeout, man.
Well, that's what happens whenever you say, you know, unwrap it and stick it in. It's like, dude, no, bro, stop promoting that. Wrap it and stick it in.
Yeah. YouTube probably promotes wrapping it up, not unwrapping.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious, man. Wow. So, been working on some videos, Ron. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the hobby, and you know, what made you have that aha moment saying, hey, I want to build a home theater.
Oh man, it goes way back, just like most people. You had that same vein. And with me, it was always about music. You know, I had music growing up. We were always around music, starting with our parents. It's all about music. And growing up, I was kind of like my brothers. They could dance, you know. My younger brother, my older brother, they were dancing. They had a little dance troupe or whatever. So I wasn't the greatest dancer, but you know what I'm saying. But I always, you know, was the one supplying the music. You know, me and my brother go to the record store and grab some records or whatever. So when they're dancing, hey, Ron, put this music on, or hey, y'all, you know, do something to this music.
So you guys were b-boys.
Kind of, man. We were outside though, you know, we were kind of outside. So I do proclaim myself to be an original backyard again. You know,
dude, we used to carry cardboard around.
Yeah, no one has an imagination like me, man. I'm telling you, I'm a backyard again, you know, straight up. You know, so anyway, I, you know, was into music. I saw a neighbor put out a console TV on his trash one day. And I was looking at it, and the thing that I just wanted the TV was a big TV, like a 27-inch console TV, right? And I asked my mom, I was like, he's putting it on trash. He says it works. Can I have it? And she was like, okay, you know. So I put this TV in my room, and I already had a little rack system my dad bought me for Christmas. And I had a VCR, hooked that to it. And then one day I said, I can hook my stereo to this. So I did it, you know. So now my stereo's over here, but the TV's over here. And that's kind of where it started, the TV sound thing, you know. So I got a car. I had to bring my music along with me. I had the car stereo set up. I ran my own subs and amps and wired it to the battery and all that kind of stuff. I've been through that whole phase, just like most people have. And when I got on my own, same thing. I just wanted stereo sound. Everything had to be stereo sound from the TV. If it wasn't a way to hook the VCR up or having an AVR or what have you, I can't remember the name of the first one I had, the first AVR, but it came from Radio Shack. Can't think of the name brand right now.
Realistic, or was it
Optima?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So that was my first AVR. Hooked that thing up. So it was kind of like 2-channel then, and we moved into this apartment. I tell the story all the time, and I had a 27-inch TV. I had Polk audio speakers, bookshelf speakers, and I wanted to have surround sound for the first time. But the way the apartment was set up, it had like a staircase, and when you open the door, so I couldn't get from where my TV was over the staircase because I couldn't, the wires couldn't run along the floor or anything like that. So I decided to get some wire channel. If you've seen the amount of wire channel that I put up in this apartment building, I mean, this apartment we had, a 2-bedroom apartment, I put it went up the wall around, and it was perfect. It was like the movie Tron, but you could walk in and notice the wire channel, but before you notice the speakers that I had in the back corner in the sub, you noticed the wire channel. So that was kind of like where I got it to. I had to keep it neat, you know what I'm saying? So I had to keep the wife happy. Wasn't going to be any wires around or whatever. So I knew if I was going to do it, I had to keep this wire track intact and do it that way. So from there, when we moved out of there, before we moved into our home like 18 years ago, I had a projector, InFocus projector. It was on the shopping channel. They're selling InFocus projectors with a projector screen package. So I bought that. We were looking at buying a house, but I bought it because it was on sale. Didn't have anywhere in this apartment to put it. It was no way this is going up anywhere in that place. It sat on the floor for a year in a box. And, shout out to Best Buy. A year later, when I did try to unroll it, it was kind of all stuck together.
Yeah.
Sitting there, so they took it and exchanged it because they sold the brand at the time, Best Buy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had to, end up getting a new one when I bought into this house day one. No, we had the house built and I needed a space for the screen to go. So when we were in the designing phase, my wife used to hear me talk about, I need space for my projector screen. I need space for my projector screen. They make sure this wall was the space that I could get my projector screen in when we designed this house. Stick one, because I designed the whole house, because our engineer or whatever kind of flaked out on us or whatever. So I drew this floor plan out on stick by stick, and it went to the drafter, came back. I made the changes on it. So we get in this house, it's built. Day one, I'm going to put the screen up. I got it in the wall. It's the one that had the cantilever hooks, whatever, that into the wall, a little L brackets. And I pull the screen down. I'm like, yeah, baby, go look at this. I got the screen up. You know what I'm saying? This is why we built the house, for this screen. You know what I'm saying? So she goes, yeah, that's nice. And she goes back upstairs. So I'm trying to put this screen up. Nothing, no furniture's in this house, mind you. We didn't have any furniture just yet. The screen is up. So I get there and I'm trying to pull it up. So it's a manual, right? I'm pulling it, trying to pull it, and it ain't going. So I pull it and boom. It busts out of the wall on one side because I don't know anything about how to mount the thing. So I got it. So it's in the wall on one side, and I got it in my arms like a baby, right? And my wife comes down, it's all folded up in my arms. She comes down and says, "What was that?" And I look at her. I was like, "I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it." And just like when I told her it was up, she just turned her head and say, "Oh, okay." You know what I'm saying? Just walk back upstairs. I got this thing in my hand like a baby. I'm like, I done bust a whole 8-inch hole in the wall on day one, moving in. Nothing's in the house. I was like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it sounds like you got luck like I got. Yeah, that's awesome.
I need something stronger to drink.
So what I did, I started getting smarter. I said, okay, I can't mount it right because it's not any stud. I couldn't hit the stud because of where it was. So I just busted out bigger and put a 2x8 between the studs. before I put the drywall back up. So then it wasn't a thing, you know what I'm saying? I had to wait them out. So that's kind of how I got the first experience with this house, you know, from where I was to this first house. So it was always in my mind to kind of, you know, have TV sound and things like that. But like I said, it was the dream come true when I actually got that screen up in here. But we had to go through a little bit of trouble to get it.
I know your pain on that, because I'm sure if my realtor is listening, when I was shopping for houses, we moved from Tallahassee to South Florida. We must have looked at 40, 50 houses. She was not happy. I'd walk on, nope, no room for the home theater. Let's go. But look at that. Nope. No room for the home theater. Let's go. On to the next one. So yeah,
So yeah, nothing about a dedicated. I didn't even think a dedicated space was possible. You know, I mean, I didn't. You know, when we were having a house built, we just wanted. You know, we had a family room. You got 2 bedrooms, you know, 3 bedrooms or whatever. It was all about that. As far as dedicated, I wasn't thinking of that. Maybe give me 10 years down the line, I probably would have been like you, looking for somewhere with some space already. But I knew I could do that screen, and that's all I knew at the time is the screen. Now I did have the InFocus projector. I had they let me run the DVI cable from where the projector was down the wall. I put the placement of what was then the surround speakers, where I had 2 surrounds in the ceiling and then surround back kind of, you know, in the ceiling. That was my surround sound. And have anything on the bed layer. They were all in the ceiling for the surround sound. And you kind of see this kind of how I got it now. I just kind of repurposed it. So, but I ran the wire for all of that. You know, they let me do all of that when they had the walls open. It was everything with studs and things like that. So I ran a second zone out to the patio. So they came in. Well, I didn't run the wire. I marked the space. I marked the spaces. They ran the wire. I just marked where it was. Put a little circle up there at first, and then I spray painted the floor. You know, because it's a slab. It's like a raised slab. So I spray painted the floor. Put a plumb line and spray painted the floor, so I knew where the wires would be before the carpet goes in, you know, so I can kind of pull the wire down and all that kind of stuff. So I plumbed down, spray painted the floor of the concrete right there so I could find the wires later on. And yeah, you know, I did a little bit with the house when it was built. So I kind of knew where the kind of the layout. So I did have to learn some things, but I kind of knew the layout. All right. Thank you, sir. What was that? Van Gool?
Van Gool in the house. Thanks for subscribing, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you for subscribing.
All right.
So, yeah. So, I actually got a little bit of email participation this week from G Cornell. So I'm not sure if you guys know who G Cornell is, but he listens to a lot of the shows. He's popular on AV Rant. He's also popular on DJ Show. But he asks, what's wrong with Kaleidoscape? Right? So of course we had to have a little discussion there. So, but basically it says, let's see here. Let's go back to his email here. But yeah, he was just asking me with, you know, what's going on with Kaleidoscape, and why did some of the titles not have the director's comments on them? You know, and my thoughts are is it's more for space, you know, to save space, especially on the smaller devices now. But there are some titles that actually that do have. He pointed out there are some titles that have the director's cut. Now, I've never watched a movie with the director's cut to where they do the description while you're playing a movie. How about you, Paul? Have you ever partaked in any of the director's cut portions?
I don't know, dude. Like any of the like when you say director's cut, like I'll watch a director's cut or the extended version or whatever. But if you're talking about the commentary,
correct. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I never watch any of that stuff. I'm not like, that's all business. I mean, that's all, like, literally, that's all. They try to make it not that way, but it's just all, that's all just business and corporate.
Mm.
You know, hey, this is all the trouble we had to go through. This is what we had to do. And sometimes they'll, if you're a fan of something, it like a true fan, in that instance, I could see someone wanting to watch that and how it's made and understanding like how that presentation was created to make it so realistic if you enjoyed it. But at the same time, it's like once you see and understand how stuff works, like if you're into filmmaking and stuff like that, especially CGI or whatever, you see it. You can't unsee it. You know,
Right.
once you see it, and it gets annoying, right? You know, to where like you can't enjoy content because you're analyzing something that your job. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like if you're an actor, I'm sure it's probably harder to really enjoy a movie because you might be like, oh, I would have done it this way, or oh, they should have done this, or whatever the case may be. Maybe like if you're a professional actor, maybe you watch just B movies because you understand the difficulties of getting to where you currently are, and you probably enjoy those better. It's
So,
like, yeah,
I thought it was interesting because,
Yeah.
He says that film buffs want this, but I don't consider myself a film buff. I enjoy movies. I don't watch movies over and over and over, and I can't recite lines.
Can't
and
remember
stuff like
your
that.
name, let alone
Yeah,
friggin'
I don't remember
director's name.
directors and
Right.
heck,
But,
I don't even remember the actors.
So I'm just curious, how many people in the chat do you guys want the commentary, the director's commentary?
I do
with your movie?
MKV files, man. You know, I don't want, and if I want that, I'll YouTube it. You know,
All right. Here's my thing, right? You know how you want to save space on the NAS, right? You got the 4K disc and you got this other disc. It's like, man, I don't need to waste this space. You know what I'm saying? I don't do MKV files anymore, which I used to kind of break it out, but now I just throw the disc in there. Now that's another disc you're talking about. You need to load to get those extras. But now I know the movies that my wife likes, I need to put extras on because she's gonna ask for them. You know what I'm saying? Because those type of movies that she likes that stuff.
okay.
So that's
I like the blooper reels and stuff like that.
Those are pretty funny, yeah.
But I don't ever watch a movie with the director describing the movie the whole way through.
Yeah. Well, I've
never done
always you can like a lot of the information. Like watching the movie with the director commentary on. I've never done that.
Nobody wants to watch a movie that many times. I mean, it's like a waste of a watch, really.
Yeah. But the extras, you can get that on YouTube, man. All of that, or the internet.
So Master Lesson says he loves the deleted scenes. Yeah, I agree with that. But
scenes are good.
I was just curious, because like I said, I don't consider myself a true film buff. I do partake in a lot of movies. And watch them. I don't watch them over and over again, and I can't recite a bunch of lines. But
when I back up my MKV files, if a movie has multiple editions, it literally and like Plex has this, but you can tag it with theatrical cut, extended cut, whatever. Like some movies have like 3 different versions, and I will create an MKV for each of the versions, because sometimes people are like, hey, we want to watch it, whatever, like Game of not Game of Thrones, the friggin' Lord of the Rings, the extended cuts or the actor, not the non-theatrical, some of them are 35-40 minutes longer whenever you have the extended, the director's cut.
Ike's being quiet over there, so I'm thinking he listens to the director commentary.
No, for me, it's like there's specific movies. Like I think some of the old classic movies, I used to enjoy it. I don't know if any of these new movies that come out these days, I'm really
Yeah, I don't
sitting
care
down
how
one
many hours
I
you
don't
spend in front of
care.
the computer.
Sometimes I wish they delete certain things in the actual movies themselves, not
Mhm.
even. So, but I think some of the old classic movies used to have them, and then you really enjoyed it. But I don't know, some of these modern day movies, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
One movie. You couldn't even download the whole movie on the Strato. You
I know,
have
right?
to do like part A and then
Oh,
part
boy.
B.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Well, I will say this.
speaking of the E,
Uh,
there's one in the wild.
Oh.
Mr. Jeff Robinson, thank you, sir, for purchasing a Kaleidoscape from Horizon Home Theater. This is his. He just received it today. He said he's going to be getting this thing set up over the weekend, either tomorrow or
Nice.
over the weekend. So,
Nice.
but
Right.
that one is in the wild right now. So,
Yeah.
I'm
I
happy for you.
say,
You're
I
going to
like-
enjoy
I
it.
like the product. Anyway, back to the theater cut. There are certain things that I'll watch, like, but maybe not like a whole movie's worth. Like whenever they did 1917, whenever they were doing the unedited cuts,
Mhm.
I watched like how they did that, right? But it
Yeah.
wasn't a whole. It wasn't the movie with the commentary on it. I don't. That's just
Yeah. I think those types of movies like 1917, those types of World War II classic, I don't mind because it will be fun just to see how it was done and maybe some of the background stories that were not told during the movie. But I try to watch Fast and Furious behind the scene. It's CGI 100%. Just sitting, I don't know, like
yeah, exactly.
just ask ChatGPT to do it.
Remix the
man.
movie for me, Chat GPT.
Yeah, so the
Remix.
next one is probably going to be shot with ChatGPT. So, I think certain movies where there's enough story,
Yeah.
if it was based on like real life events and
Yes.
things like that, that
In
would
that
pique my
instance,
interest.
yes, you learn about the history and those I'll watch it again, but it's not the movie commentary. It's more of, hey, this is a historical representation movie, and this is why we did this scene. We wanted to,
Right.
bring this to light or really, emphasize this. And
But that's
those
what the
type of
director's
things-
cuts are, right? So I'm actually going to do it now. I'm interested because, I think I would like to hear, it'll be after I watch the movie, right? So I want to watch the movie first, and then I want to go back and rewatch it with the director's cut, saying, okay, this is like exactly what you said. This is what we were thinking on how to get this scene in Jurassic Park or whatever.
But there's certain, okay, there's like I don't know, there's the full movie, right? Because they do have that now, where it's literally playing the movie, the intro and everything, and it's like dun 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 dun, and then you, okay, and you hear people in the background talking.
You be like, I got the wrong track selected.
That's the commentary.
In
that instance, no. But if they're doing like, hey, we're talking about the movie, like it's a 30-40 minute, commentary of specific scenes and why they did that. Yeah, but the movie, the full, because there's full commentary. It is literally the full movie in the background. No, I have never watched that. That would drive me nuts. And that I thought was the spirit of the question. It's like, no, dude, I don't watch the.
Yeah, no, it was more about the audio portion of the director.
The extras. Yeah. If you're into it and you love it, that totally makes sense. It's like, or you're curious about how certain effects are done, but like Ike said, it's newer stuff has less meaning because we already know it's just freaking computer generated. It's like, hey, I spent 4 hours in Blender to make this one scene.
After talking, after emailing a couple emails back and forth, G. Cornell says that Kaleidoscape isn't who makes the decisions. He says the studio makes the decisions on what they send over to them. So no fault to Kaleidoscape for not having those on there. If that is true, I'm not sure exactly, but I'm just reciting our conversation.
If I had to take a guess, I would have guessed that was the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I never, throughout this conversation, at no point did I really think that had to do with Kaleidoscape. I always thought that might be a studio.
Again, they're making like
you don't think it's like we're talking about like for a NAS space? They have.
Yeah, I mean, look, they for me, I would think that's what it would be, right? Because they have a certain amount of space on their servers too, right? They usually hold around 12 to 14,000 movies. I don't think it really increases. It's always around the same amount.
And like you say, you can get them on the internet. Like that extras.
Yeah. So I mean, they do. I think they have a link to the trailers, which any movie that you go on there, you can click trailer and watch the movie prior. So I don't know how that actually happens. I don't think they have all the trailers saved for each individual movie. I could be wrong. I'm just, I don't know how they store, or just maybe they just link, the trailer somehow.
That's how other platforms, Plex does.
Yeah,
it.
correct.
When you click on the link or the movie in your library, like right now I have it set to like after 3 seconds, it'll automatically start playing the trailer in the background.
Yeah.
Like, it made me think of something that's cool, not so much about the extras, but when made me think about alternate endings. Those are the best things in the movie. You have a movie, you buy a movie, you got an alternate ending, you're like, yeah, alternate endings are sweet, and a lot of times you don't know. Like the movie, what's the last one that had an alternate ending I bought? Warriors. Old movies, Warriors come out and play. that has an alternate ending version of it too that comes on the 4K disc. So this made me think about alternate endings.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's again, those I do. Well, that would be an extra. Normally they won't do unless the alternate ending is used in director's cut. Like I said, I'll do the full movies where it'll be like director's cut or extended version or whatever. They'll, not rated safe, because it has like a couple, cuss words that, because they will literally do that. They'll make a movie and there's certain scenes that they're like, no, you got to cut that out because it's, it's anti this. So they'll cut that out, and like Tropic Thunder, if you buy or rent that now, it's an edited version. You have to have already had the original version to watch the full version. It's an edited, not that you need the unedited version to enjoy the movie necessarily, but they will do that. They'll edit it like, not just alternate ending, but they'll have different scenes that may touch on certain things that, that's offensive. So let's cut that out. And, that's.
I mean, if they did that though, you'd get rid of all the movies from the 80s and 90s. Yeah. I mean, Mike, you're on mute, sir.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what's this movie I was trying to watch just 2-3 days ago?
Should they even edit some Star Wars movies?
It's an old school movie, something about a train though, and they actually had that disclaimer that this movie was shot during a timeline where certain things were allowed that are currently inappropriate and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Might contain racial.
Hey, I'd rather have it do that than edit it, because I don't know. It's just
Gone with the Wind. Yeah,
Gone with the Wind. That is what I was trying to watch about 2 days ago, and I saw it, and I just smiled. I was like, somebody's really gonna watch that and really get mad.
Never seen it, man. Never seen Gone with
It
the
is an
Wind.
actual.
That
Yeah, it's
dude,
Gone with the
that
Wind.
is one of
That's
those.
the one I was trying to watch, Rob.
It's a hard watch for newer, like if you're really wanting to just be entertained. But movies like that, storylines,
Classic movie.
1,000 times better than anything that's out today. Like 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what's
I
crazy.
can
about
see
that.
why they have that disclaimer. But
Oh, yeah.
When you
Yeah.
watch Gone with the Wind, I'm
Frankly,
like,
my
"Oh,
dear, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I'm like, well, dang. But yeah, it's still better than trying to completely censor these movies or
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of those old
Lots
movies
of
that I would
extras.
imagine.
Lots of
Yeah.
extras. Get all the.
Look, in a few years, our live streams are gonna get.
So
its
that's not
size
extras. That's being extra.
Yeah. You know what? If you have the disc, you're allowed to watch whatever's on the disc. You know.
You don't have to agree with it.
No, you don't.
By no
That's for
means.
sure.
Yeah, I think that
So,
was the same thing that was done to was it Speedy Gonzalez, from the animation, right? I don't know if you guys watched.
We watched
the
Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah.
They had Speedy
All those
Gonzalez, and they completely
Ándale,
banned it.
ándale, arriba.
They completely banned it, and I'm like,
Was
come
it-
on, man,
was
I
that a
wanna watch
central?
Speedy
I didn't
Gonzalez.
know.
I mean, look at Roadrunner. Look at
that
Roadrunner
Yeah.
and
They're
Wile E.
all
Coyote.
canceled. Yeah.
Tom
they're
and
canceled.
Jerry. All the violence that they had.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I mean,
Tom and Jerry was really violent.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was
My
watching
son
it
was
with my
watching
kids. I was
Yeah.
watching it with my kids last year, and I was like,
Yep.
man, how did we watch this stuff, man? It was
Yeah.
there were a lot of subtle messages, like very
Flintstones,
inappropriate.
all that stuff. Yeah.
A lot of inappropriate
yeah.
stuff for Tom and Jerry, man.
Yeah, I didn't
Talking
think
about
anything of it,
freaking
man.
Pinky and the Brain, man. Talk about
Yeah, I love Pinky and the
hidden
Brain.
message.
Yeah, I
I
love it.
still watch my
That's
Pinky and the Brain.
up there.
So what are we gonna do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Same thing we do
Hey,
every
do
day.
every day. Try to take over the world until she ruins it or he ruins it, whoever
Oh.
she is.
So, Ike, I got a question for you. Just shift gears here real quick.
Yeah.
Rick was on the show a while back. Rick, Houston, we got a problem. He made a comment on one of my videos
Okay.
a while back that I don't think that you may have saw. Let me go to this here. He was talking about the SVS subwoofers.
Okay.
He wanted to know. Let me go to the comment here. Says, why didn't Ike talk to me about the SVS in-wall subwoofers? So he was looking at doing the clips, but just if you wouldn't mind, just give him a little synopsis on what you think about the SVS subwoofers.
They're amazing subwoofers, right? But I think they're designed obviously to be supplemental, right? Just like the way I have them, right? So I have the PV2000s, I have the stack SW15s, and then I have the SVS in walls just on my back wall, right?
I wouldn't necessarily say that they're designed to be supplemental, but I would say that they're not designed for the esoteric home theaters, 5 hertz.
Oh no.
Type.
no, obviously not. But
they are.
but if you have 20 of them, they can probably your room.
Well,
is
they're
gonna be-
very well designed.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have really good DSP, and this is just from me measuring them remotely at that. And they are. I mean, you gotta just succumb to if you're buying in wall, you're buying that for aesthetics,
Right.
and you know what?
Yeah.
They're really good. You
No,
know,
they're really
perform
good.
pretty darn decent for what they are. If you're doing a room if you can't have subs because either the room won't allow it because of floor space, or aesthetics, they're about as good as you're gonna get for in-wall. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, when I say they're designed supplemental, I think, like in a room my size, right? If you have two already in-room subwoofers and you're thinking, okay, maybe I need to add some additional subwoofers, and you don't want to go, like you said, you don't have the space, then you want to get them. And if you get two or even four of them, right, you would know that they're in the room, right? So I don't want to give the impression that if you get four of them and you put them in the corners of your room, you're going to be getting this bass thumping.
You're not.
You know, if you have a relatively big size room, maybe
Saying
if
they
you have
don't hit the brown note.
They are
no,
not
they're
gonna
not
kill when they
designed to
mow.
hit the brown notes, but they're really good. Compared to a lot of in-wall subwoofers out there, they're good.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
look,
have seen-
according to the graph, it looks like they're starting to roll off at 30.
Yep.
At night,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
they are
which is
Do
not
not
bad.
try to push it below that, and it has a room gain because I
Yeah.
have a SBS in wall sub.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
if you try to use the room gain, you'll start to hear it fail. Because
Yeah.
if you have other subwoofers that are more powerful and like was saying, it's doing supplemental duties, it's filling in somewhat,
filling
but
in
more
knolls and
or more of a tactile. Like I said, if you have it closer to you, better for you. So that's the kind of duty I think is going to use. And like I say, different movies is going to be good, and it's great for music, I believe, because
Yeah.
of where mine is on my back wall. I get a little punch from those.
Yeah.
You can crank them up a little bit and get that punch from them. They sound real good in that. But when they try to go low and you get that room gain measurement turned up on that app or whatever, they're gonna start fluttering.
Yeah.
So you
'Cause
got to
I'm
kind of watch
even-
that.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of removing mine from the back walls, right, and putting them in my side pillars,
there you go.
right, and then putting
yeah, there you go.
because I'm going to end up doing the whole stack in front, you know.
You're really
false
paying
stacks.
for the aesthetics of
Yeah, so I'm going to move
I
them
mean,
and
that's
put them
where the
on my
performance-
side walls, and then I would have them just pointing towards the main seating position.
Okay.
Right. So you can still feel it. It's really great. I've actually seen where someone used about 12 or 15 of them behind their acoustic screen. So it was behind their projector screen. They had like 12 or 15 of them. So I think if you have that many of them in a room, yeah, you're gonna feel you're gonna feel it because they thump pretty hard. They
So
do.
those are dual 9-inch.
Yeah,
Three,
well
well,
built.
if you get the amp that comes with them, that's 3,000 watt amp.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I just wanted to touch on that because
You should use those as near fields under your couch.
that's
yeah,
what
you
I
can
was
do
thinking.
that too. I thought about that too. Put it under my riser for the back.
Yeah, because
row.
I mean they got this cabinet enclosed in a
encased,
cabinet
man. Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already enclosed. You could
It's
just set
very,
it right
very
underneath
fine,
if
very,
it's
very
shallow
nice.
enough.
Yeah, it's built very well, man. It's aircraft grade aluminum that was used to build that stuff. So it's
So speaking of subwoofers, also you just recently made a purchase to do some stack subs, right? For the Stark sound. Were you able to work out the daisy chain feature? Were you able to reach out to them and get that figured out?
nah. I just simply bought the what is it called, the XLR to. Did we lose Paul?
I think he took himself off for a second.
No, it's probably going for a refill. But I got the XLR to RCA connector and just plugged it in and it works. I just
Okay.
haven't done any calibration because I'm just waiting for a weekend I can grab Paul so we can take a look at it. But, yeah, those things, it works well. I think I'm just going to end up with 2 left and right stacked. So 4.
They look
left
good, man.
and
When you
front.
stack
Yeah.
them like that, like I was thinking about in the rear, that I was gonna probably build like a column to hide the subwoofers, but man, when you get them back there and they're stacked and they you take the grills off and
Yep.
even though
Okay.
I don't want to see any speakers looking at the screen, right? But I don't care if I see them in the background turning around. You know
Yeah,
what I
when
mean?
you see them thumping, it's funny.
Yeah, man. So yeah, those rails, that the stacked rails, they look so good in the back of my room when I'm looking at them. And I actually got that off of I got that idea from originally I was going to be putting the monolith 215s back there.
Yeah.
But I think the rails aesthetically look a little bit better. But I got that idea from the guy that now owns what is that, Atlantic Home Theater. When Michael did his home theater tour, I can't remember his name. He had two big subwoofers sitting in the back, and I was like, man, that looks so good. So I was like, because other than that, you just got an empty space back there, right? So I was like, man, I need to go ahead and add some of those 215s that'll get me the lower frequencies. But I want to stay on the subwoofer topic because I saw a super interesting TikTok video about a new subwoofer design. Not sure if you guys have seen this yet or not, but Dolly.
Is it a new design or is it a rehashed design? Don't tell me it's the friggin'.
It's the 3% rule.
Look at the surround on this speaker.
Seen something like that before.
Yeah,
Now,
so Dolly owns another company too that they make a speaker like this, and they've taken this particular surround from that speaker and implicated it on this new subwoofer that's going to be coming out in late fall. So Audio Advice, the Audioholics did a write-up on this. I actually saw the TikTok video on it, and man, I tell you what, look at that surround.
Man, that woofer looks like my front tires I need to replace. They look good, man.
Is it the speaker just good, or is that surround actually?
He's just enamored by that design.
Look, it's something different. You know what I mean?
Design. Yeah.
So
it could help. It could help rigidity, right? But
they're saying the X-Max on this is really, really, really far for the X-Max. So that's why they had to build this around like this.
4 ports though. How deep is it?
Yeah, 4 ports.
Can you go to the dimensions?
Yeah, there's some pictures.
It looks relatively small for. Oh no, that thing is deep. Let's see, the diameter.
So here you go. Look at this.
For 4 ports, that looks pretty small.
4 ports, 16-inch.
Wait, scroll back up. Let's look at this. Oh, okay. So, okay, it's not. Okay, it is open. I just didn't see the cutouts between I thought the ports were going into the back and they were using the vent hole or something.
16 millimeter of one-way linear excursion and 35 millimeters of one-way max.
All right.
It's like the suitcase the zipper that goes around your suitcase that you never unzip. You know, like, hey, my suitcase understand 2 more inches. I didn't know. You know, so it's like if somebody unzipped the zipper and now.
Yeah, the CCS technology is what it was. Founded by Mr. Lindorf.
I mean, it's cool. It probably does some stuff, but I mean, I don't care how fancy that surround is. It's not going to change anything that you're hearing audibly. Sure, it may measure, oh, hey, less distortion. But, I mean, we're talking you're going to get at volumes where it's like irrelevant. Your ears aren't even capable of hearing that type of distortion differences. If it, does go louder, because there's certain volumes where your ears don't hear resolution, right? I mean, they just don't. It's just not possible. You wouldn't even be able to tell if it's distorting. But and we've seen that type of surround in not that exact one, obviously, but we've seen similar in other. Doesn't Paradigm have some weird shaped surrounds, and they claimed, oh, hey, look, so much.
I think it, if it's a good sub, it's a good sub.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get it because it's a good sub, but the question becomes, do we need that much nuance in subwoofers today? I think we got it covered. I mean, of course, you have good subs that can do what they gonna do, and you're gonna always need multiple subs to do what to get the best results. But that one sub, is that giving you that much more nuance, control, and all of these other things that you're not going to need multiples?
Yeah,
I think you're still going to need
that's
it.
impossible. That's a
Like I
physics.
said, I think it's a great thing if it's a great sub altogether. But to say that surround is going to do much more, I'd have to hear it.
It's a marketing genius. That's all it is. It's let's talk about this. And it worked.
It's technological.
They have a room supposedly a room mode attenuation. Also, it's claimed that it will be able to flatten out any group delay,
which has absolutely nothing to do with
the surround. Correct. I'm just talking about
basic DSP.
Right. Correct. I'm talking about just some features that they're talking.
So is this Audioholics review, or is this just
this is just a write up on them? Okay. So I was just going to show them
117 pound weight.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just wondering if you guys have seen this or not. I saw it. I thought the design was pretty interesting especially with 4 ports.
Cool. It looks different, but does it come with a speaker grill?
Oh,
I don't know if they have the pictures of the grill. I'm sure.
Except it's magnetic.
I hope not. If you're touting that this is you want to see this, it looks like somebody forgot to unfold it. That's all it looks like. I forgot to unfold the surround. My bad.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. Something, we were on the subwoofer topic, so I just figured I'd pull this up and show everyone. What do you guys think in the comments? What do you think about the that Dolly, new Dolly that's coming out? I'm a fan of their products. I've heard them in some of the shows. They definitely are. Of course, I'm a fan of the AirMotion and ribbon tweeters too. So, and Dolly is famous for those also. So, but yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Some of the new technology that they're trying to come up with. So I've never seen a subwoofer with that type of surround before. So in other news, we might be a week late on this, but
oh God, what is it now?
Marantz is now offering the AV20. It's supposed to be a step below the AV10. Offers 13.4 channels versus what I think the AV10 is 15.4. So yeah, I think this is going to fill a void for some of the people that don't need 15 channels in their room, or so. But yeah, it's what do you guys think about? Have you heard about this? The release of this? They have the AMP 20 and the AV20.
Yeah, I was just listening to Phil Jones, right, on Shanley's channel, just talk about over the products and things like that. And Ryan seems to have a lot of big plans for it.
What's the difference in price? Is it?
I think it's $1,000.
I think it's $1,000.
It's like $1,000, and that's kind of where I think I asked you that before we came on live.
It's like, dude, you just go for the.
I'll just go for the 8. I'll just go for the 10. Like, if it's $1,000 difference,
one more, yeah.
Well,
and I think I even heard Phil recommend going for the big boy if you are.
Of course, Phil's going to recommend that.
Music. No, but I guess in terms of music and. Look, for me, I always think like if you think you're going to need 13 channels, chances are you're going to end up needing 15.
Now the 15 that adds your front wide. Right?
Yeah, the front wide.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At some point,
but the question is on this one, can you forego 6 heights and
and do
go
wides.
front
Yeah.
And do the
line.
wides, right?
You might be able to.
Let's
You
see if
know?
there's a
Good question.
specification.
But what I think I did hear about that one, I think that one is 2.5 or 3 inches shallower because they said the AB10 was having issues fitting in
Don't
all the
tell
places.
her
People's racks couldn't fit in, or have some trouble fitting in cabinets and things. So I think this
Mm.
one is 2.5 or 3 inches less deep on the tail end. So it saves room supposedly.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the layouts.
still
I'd like
has
to
the
see
same-
somebody go through
Yeah.
the different types of layouts that you can
Yeah,
do.
there's a video somewhere out there on YouTube that showed it has the same toroidal transformer, same size. It just has fewer, what you call it, HDAM DACs in them. I guess there's one less DAC, in it, but the way that it's configured is just shorter. The other one's the AB10 is a little bit longer in the butt.
Yeah.
So if you were looking for that, or that one would not fit, the AB10 wouldn't fit in your cabinet, because I have a cabinet. So I don't know if it'd be a space issue.
Let's answer your super chat there, Ike.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you for the super chat. It's been a while since I saw one of those, but we truly appreciate it. Says greetings. If I add Marantz AV10 with all the DRAC options or add-ons, do I still need mini DSP in my chain? That's technically a Paul's question at this point.
The answer is no for the quick answer. You do not. The long answer
I
is,
will hold on. It depends on how many subwoofers he has.
The AV10 has four outputs, right?
Right.
No, because the AV10 has 4 independent sub outs.
Well, what if he's got 6?
Well, then you gotta add regardless.
Right.
The
You're
mini
gonna
DSP
need
won't do
DSP.
that. He didn't ask, does he need 2 mini DSPs?
No, he's asking, can he eliminate the mini DSP? So you're either going to
But
daisy chain them.
Here's the gotcha. Okay, there's several versions of Durac. You can't just buy like the Durac. You got to buy the base management Durac on top of the Durac. So there's like a super expensive Durac, and then on top of that, you got to add another several $100s, which cost as much as the the mini DSP. It's like another couple $100s. If I had a Marantz, I would probably buy it just to make.
So he said 4 subs.
Yeah,
4
yeah.
subs. Okay. So
And the question, I understood the question. I gave him the
That's
short
why I
answer
pointed
right
it
away.
to you. I just
Yeah, but
but
that is a good point. Not everybody's Don with 24 subwoofers. He does it, but yeah, so that's the short answer is no. If you get the Durac $500 or $600 and then the $200 additional base management stuff, because it's not all in one, right? Then no, you do not need a mini DSP.
but doesn't Odyssey also control 4 subs with the
Yeah.
multi EQ?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But-
you don't
But
necessarily need to
can't
do
run.
Durac.
You can't. Well, that's just it. The gist of the question is, hey, I like Durac.
Yeah, let's not add or subtract to the question.
Yeah.
Let's just stick with the question.
I'm just the way I'm reading it is, can I get rid of my mini DSP? That's
Yeah,
the way I'm reading
he's
it.
asking, do I need to also buy a mini DSP? And no, you don't. You don't need to. Honestly, regardless if you even bought the additional base management, with 4 subs, you are negating the need for all of this extra time alignment and phase alignment and stuff like that. You're covering all your nulls and all your bases if you properly place them. The more subs you have, especially if you have 4, you almost don't even need to EQ your bass at all. Like it's that nice to have 4. Most people don't have 4 though.
Hey, you might just have 3 different nulls sitting in your room.
The
No, that's
only
not possible.
the only time in this scenario where you would need, and again, if you're doing a mini DSP, then you're going down a whole rabbit hole of learning the whole application and timing and phase alignment and FIR filters and PEQ filter. It's a rabbit hole. That's a long, deep hole. 4 subs, yeah, you could let it even without the base management stuff. And dude, you're already 90% there. You're chasing that last 10% if you're mini DSP or anything, even beyond just the basic Odyssey with 4 subs.
Yeah.
But if you start doing stuff like, hey, I want bass shakers, I want this, I want that, you're kind of forcing yourself to go down that rabbit hole, because then you'll need a mini DSP, or you'll need to dedicate one of the 4 outputs, which this is capable of, to a bass shaker. And it's fun, if you're having fun doing it, by all means do it, but always start off with, I would just buy the unit, connect your 4 subs, put them in the proper place, we'll run the system. And if you like it and you don't want to spend any more money on any of the additions, don't. But if you're like, I want to tweak it, or I want to hear the difference, I want to experience this, then the world's your oyster. Have fun with it. As long as you're having fun with it, man, get all the accessories and add-ons, But that processor is extremely capable at its most basic level.
Yeah, no, I like I said, it for me, I just read it as, hey, do I still need a mini DSP, which means he's already got one, right? So that would be for me to say,
Well, I was thinking more, do I need to buy one?
Right, right.
Because otherwise,
if you don't have one, then you don't need to. But if you already have one,
So this one has the 4 outputs, like Paul said, the 4 subwoofer outputs here, and it's got balanced and unbalanced, which is nice because so
that is nice.
You're able to do that. And then let's see, the AV. Let's look at the AV20 that just came out. See if that one, how many subwoofers that one has. Where is it at?
I think it's still the same 4 independent.
Yeah, 4 independent on that one too.
I mean, I think so, but we can check it. That's it right there.
Yeah. So basically the same setup. 4 independent unbalanced and 4 independent balanced.
Yep. And then if you zoom in, isn't that 4th one, capable of being dedicated to tactile transducers?
Yeah, I think one of them is, yes.
Yep. Man, if Yamaha doesn't freaking come out with a new processor one of these days, I might end up having to go with Marantz.
Well, if you need, I am a Marantz dealer, so if you need some help with that.
I know, and you better give me the best damn deal there ever was, man.
I don't know what you're talking about. MSRP for you, bro.
This guy's like trying to make $1,000 off of me, man.
I don't know.
God, what are friends for? It's not the
Paul is about
friends and family discount.
Paul is about to get a 60% tariff, man, on that thing. That's trade-off money for you, right?
Yeah, this is the Don tariff. It's like, oh, hold on. Yes, I remember that. The first bar you took me to was
all the drywall jokes and everything. You're gonna pay for it.
Yeah. So Marantz with some new products coming out, which I'm sure was slated before the Harman merger, right? Before the buyout, So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that. Is Marantz going to be your premium product, and then Denon going to be your lesser product, and classy or class A going to be your upper end, or I'm interested to see what happens with that whole. And then Wade says Dirac or Durac?
Dirac.
It is
Dirac.
Dirac. I just added a third one.
Durac. I think
It's
is that
Dirac.
right?
I've always said Dirac.
Mhm.
Yeah. Dirac Live.
More like fur, like not the, but more like fur, like Durac. I think is how
Yes.
it's pronounced.
So Bobby says he's already got one of the like I said, he's got the
Oh, okay.
2x4
Well, then
HD.
You're good
so.
to go then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Find out for yourself. Try
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
And you'll know.
I would say try them both because it's gonna be hard to let go of your mini DSP. If you think you got it all tuned up right, you'd be like, oh, well, I'm gonna trust Odyssey. Just plug it in. It's already ready.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of course you.
No,
probably
look,
have to let it
I
go
mean,
eventually, but
I've said this on the show too. I have a mini DSP. I'm not. I even had trouble hooking the damn thing up, but I think it was my computer that was giving me issues more than anything. But look, if I can eliminate, if I can eliminate that, if I can eliminate something else that can fail in the chain,
Yeah, I think
why not? You know what I mean?
I agree with you on that. I think sometimes we forget that every extra thing we add to the chain, sometimes, most times, just complicates things.
Yep.
Or
during the theater tour, somebody they did a test and they did something, and then halfway through ours, they're like, "Oh man, I didn't even have the subs on." Yeah. Oh, and I mean, I've totally had that happen before.
Oh man.
And I'm like, man, my near field subs weren't even on. Like
There
I was literally missing 4 subwoofers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oops. But mine was from a power thing that happened, a power storm or something. I don't know if I forgot to even turn them back on, but I was like, oh man. But it happens. More stuff, more problems, right?
Yeah. I think the less amount of stuff you can have in your chain, it's always the best. But it's kind of how the rabbit hole goes. You always need more.
So what's the latest thing that you're doing on your channel, Ron?
Some videos on some demo clips, doing some demo clip videos.
Oh, okay. That is your latest thing.
That's the latest thing I'm working on. The thing is funny about like the last video I did, something on hearing your Atmos speakers.
Hey, Doug, pull up that Govee video.
So I pull up the, like if you can't hear your Atmos speakers, that one on the left, I say, if you can't hear your Atmos speakers, here's why, right? And of course I was being kind of tongue in cheek with the thumbnail, but that video is doing better than any video. And you know what? I went in my space and I just turned the camera on and I just said, I'm just gonna give my initial reaction. Didn't have anything scripted or whatever. I started to start talking. And the editing was all messed up on that video. For some reason, the computer was acting all whack. I said, this is going to be the worst thing ever. That video is doing so great right now as far as the videos for my channel.
That is how it always goes.
I was like, really? That was supposed to be the worst video? I was just putting the video out there. I was just kind of going to, just flow with it. And that video for me, not, of course, you guys, but for me, that was doing great, so strange. So it kind of demoralizes you in a way. You spend all this time in this video trying to get it right. And
that's usually what happens. You spend 7 hours trying to edit something and make it perfect.
Yeah.
And
so
then
I was talking about the SoundCloud that I built, and because I had put some sound absorption on the ceiling, which I never thought I could do. But like you said, you get into a space and you start looking around, and you're trying to figure out how you could do it and how you can make it look nice. And and that just kind of grows. That idea grows until you get the right format, the way you think you can make it and make it look good, and you do it. And in this case, it made, I think, a huge difference in what I was hearing. So it's crazy. It's crazy where I explained in that video, like, am I hearing my front sound stage? That's basically where my first reflection is from my front stage, right above, where that SoundCloud is. So now I'm hearing my Atmos speakers up in that area, being my top front, my top middle, even more because it's not competing with the echoed sound right there, where that sound cloud is now sucking it up. So why can't I not hear I mean, it's very possible that I'm hearing them because it's not competing with the front stage. And of course, when you're hearing movies and things and they're playing on their own, you can hear them because they're just that playing. But when it's going crazy, you got all this chaos happening in this movie, and you're supposed to be hearing things up here in your front stage, which is always the loudest, center and front. They're normally louder than everything else. So now if you're getting reflected sound right there, it's very possible you won't be hearing the Atmos speakers that are right there because that's the zone where your reflection is happening off the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So if you tackle it, and again, that was my initial thought. And I was like, man, I got to make a video about this. This is crazy that I hadn't run my room correction over, but it's like, why my top fronts just want to take over? It's like, why am I hearing them? I knew they were there and I knew they were always doing something. But when I initially turned the movies on and started watching movies, I was like, these are way louder. Like,
now,
so I was like, why?
Talking about sound clouds, you need to start mass producing this, man.
Somebody asked me, said, how much would it be for you to make it? I said, you know what?
It looks so good. I was like, man, I need to call him.
All the time. I look at it all the time, man. And I imagined that I could do it that way. That's the way I wanted to do it, so I can actually keep it clean looking. Because I don't think I could fold the corners and staple them down neat enough that I could not see the edges of it. So I was like, what is the way I can do that? And I went and got some doggone fabric stretching. Like you was talking about, Don, I got some fabric stretching molding. Fabric track, and that's what I used. I tucked it. I put this fabric track on the frame that I built, and I tucked it. So there's not an untucked corner in there. It's not nothing wrapped. Everything is tucked. I even talked to the people at Fabric Mate and the owner, I forget his name, but we sat there and had a 20-minute conversation. He was like, "You gonna do what now?" I said, imagine this. So when I bounced it off of him, he said, "Yeah, you can do this." And he gave me a lot of good things and what I would have to do that helped, because I actually lured him into thinking, you're going to do this. You're going to actually do this. I was like, yeah, because initially I was thinking about making a round one. And they have some products you can make a circle.
Yeah, they have the cutout.
Yep. Yeah, I decided to go square with it, but we were talking about it, and he told me all the pros and cons of how to use it and what I could do. So, I mean, I looked at the clock. He was like, "Well, we got to go now." I said, "Yeah, we've been talking over 20 minutes, man."
No,
and I was like, "What's your name?" He was like, "I forget it," but he said, "I'm the owner."
Yeah, this looks good. Imagine putting a starlight into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you have that beautiful light. I mean, it would defeat the purpose of it being your acoustic property, right? But still, well, you still have the insulation inside the absorption panels.
Yeah.
So instead, it would be more like a diffuser combo, right? Because you have the holes for the star ceiling, the star fibers. But that looks really good, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, I planned it out for a long time. My wife was like, "Are you doing this just because of your channel?" And I went back into my phone and I started showing her pictures. 2021 is when I had a picture. I'm on my back, got a picture of the ceiling. And I was like, this was 2021's idea. I just hadn't figured out a way to do it right that I wanted it to look the way that I wanted to look. So that's what a lot of time I got all these little things that I want to do, but nothing has been developed yet that I could
use
do.
Owings Corning in there for that?
I used the 703, the 1-inch stuff, and I made the way that it's made, the 1x4 flat panel that you see there on the front side of it, where the fabric track is holding it in. That's a 1-inch piece right there. But then in between where the supports for it is, there's another 1-inch in between there. So it's like 3 panels on top. So it's kind of double stacked. And then I put some Govee LEDs in there.
How did you power it? Did you have like a ceiling fan up there, or did you have?
I ran it back to where my projector outlet is in the ceiling. And
so how did you hide the cords?
In the ceiling.
So you went up through the ceiling and then back down.
Yep. I went in the ceiling above where the panel is. I made a hole big enough for my adapters and things to go through. and
Okay.
fish the wire all the way back to where that projector outlet is, because I have a hole cover right next to my projector.
Oh, so you ran like a
Comes out.
12. You ran like a 12-volt wire all the way back.
No, it's the actual
There's
plug.
the Govee
Govee
cable,
plug.
right? You just
Yeah.
run
Yeah,
the
the
Govee.
Govee is the Govee cable.
It has
I put
really
it-
long power adapters, right?
I added a 10-foot extension, because you can't extend anything Govee to the LED, but you can extend the power line. So I bought a
Yeah.
10-foot extension power line that goes from the controller to the actual power block. So that's where I
What is
got
that? Just like a
10
USB-C style
like
plug?
it's a DC plug, that goes into the power block.
It's like a barrel connector.
Yeah, you
okay.
you can
Barrel.
extend that part. So that's what I use to extend it.
That's what I was. Yeah, I asked.
Yeah, so you
'Cause
have
that's
to
the 12-volt section, because you have the little bitty
Yeah,
plug that plugs into 110.
No,
and
no,
then it has
it's
a
it plugs into
converter.
110, and it's got a block. and
Yeah.
it's a 24 volt. Each one is 24 volts on that.
Yeah.
It gets really bright, but you can
super bright.
dim it down a lot. But
So
like I said, I ran it up through the ceiling, which you can't see, and that was another thing I needed to not be able to see it. Need to be able to get the wires and the blocks up there. I mounted the controllers to the top of the panel, so because they have built-in mics that it can dance to music and all this kind of stuff. So the mics I couldn't hide in the ceiling, so I had to mount the mics on it as well. And I showed it in my video where the mics are mounted. The actual controller has a little hole in it for the mic, so it can hear the music. Like if I'm talking right now, and the voice I'm talking, it'll go to what I'm talking. Because it's very, very,
you
very
need to do the DreamView thing, dude. It connects to the HDMI, and it uses. That's a longer conversation, but I can show you in the after show like how mine's set up and how it works.
Mhm.
But it's
You have to-
basically you buy like the computer thing, but you don't have to use the computer thing. You just use the brain box,
like a sync
and
box.
it'll
Yeah.
connect to all those things and give you full surround light effects.
Yeah, and there's a company that asked me to do a review of their sync box. I was like, what do I use a sync box for? Because I'm thinking my TV that I have, I've heard that it could induce some lag.
There
Well,
is a little
oh.
bit of lag, but the sync one they had one that has a camera. Those are really laggy. The newer ones that actually use the HDMI signal, there's still lag a little bit, but not enough. Like you're not watching that during like some serious movie, but if you're watching a concert or a friggin' a animation or something like that, it's good enough to where it enhances the experience.
So I think this might be a perfect segue to the tour,
That's
right?
exactly what I was going to say.
Let's get
Check it out.
Ron ready to
All right.
do the tour.
So while you're getting that set up, we'll answer a question here that we got. So Ron, if you could just go ahead and dial in, what do you guys feel about Easy BEQ? So my thoughts are I've experienced this in a couple theaters when I did the M-Wave, and my thoughts are sometimes it's just a little over exaggerated, right? So yes, I understand it's trying to fill a void of what was taken out of the movie to be able to play across two TV speakers. I do know that, but like if somebody's shutting a door and I feel like my whole back is being blown out, then it's
They
not
have pills for that, man. If you got that problem.
exactly. So it's not actually good, or I don't think that it helps the movie in certain ways. But if it were able to just replace some of the bass that is needed versus enhance other areas, then I would be all for it. But I think there's too many scenes that I saw that just didn't need the amount of bass that was being portrayed on the screen.
So
right?
aren't you supposed to get certain files for the particular movie,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
So that it only targets that particular scene in the movie versus just, targeting throughout the whole, like you said, somebody shuts a door and you think King Kong
It's
stepped
not.
outside, right?
No, it's not doing that. So basically, there are profiles, right? And that's what it's doing, but it's not scene by scene. It's basically you're using like, hey, this is how this base signal we see it, but it's rolled off here, right? They're not, so they're adding a shelf basically. It's not like an active thing. You're basically loading a room curve
Mhm.
in your mini
Hey,
DSP
let us know when you're ready, Ron, if you can hear us. Sorry.
based off of.
I can hear you, but I
Okay.
can't get my picture full screen.
No, can you turn your phone?
Turn
Are
your
you
phone
using
sideways.
your front camera or the back camera?
I'm using my.
There you go.
There you go.
There
Yeah,
you go. Now you
that'll
got
So
it.
work.
now I'll
That'll
put
be
you.
good enough.
I can put you in solo layout, full screen, and then.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't see that little teeny.
Go ahead, Ike. Do it. There we go. We'll get back to the BEQ here in a minute. So Ron is so gracious enough to give us a theater tour of his theater. So Ron, if you could just start out with the dimensions of the room that you're in.
Okay, the dimensions of my space is 20 by 16. So 20 all the way over here. And this open space, what we call this bar, that's about 20. And then from the TV wall to this back wall is about 16.
Okay. And is this
So
like an open area?
it is open concept. There's a kitchen over here in this
Okay.
way. And then on this side is all open to the area over there. My son graduated not too long ago, still got the balloons up. But yeah, so it's open on both sides. So here you can kind of see the shape of the floor. Kind of got a runner there. And it's kind of like that all the way, this carpeted area right here, kind of trapezoid looking area. That's the only part that's carpeted. And the rest is hardwood floor behind there.
Okay.
So it's like this angled on both sides of this area over here.
All right. So love the curtains, the pop of color in there.
I,
With the
My, look,
I was
my
just saying
wife-
that now I want orange curtains,
my
man.
wife's
That
favorite
looks
color.
good.
So I tell people all the time, I say, hey, man, I get to do what I want to do in here because I'm catering to the things that she wants. You know what I'm saying? So as long as I put orange in something in this house or what have you, then I get free reign sometimes.
You will
Yeah,
live,
and
you will live
and
longer doing that. Trust me.
and
Yeah.
the sound panels look. I mean, they look nice. They,
Thank
you
you,
know,
man.
it's not.
It's
You know,
it's
it
all
goes.
about
It goes with the decor.
yeah, and like I say all the time, I tell people, man, it's all about keeping it crisp and clean. If I can't really make it look clean, I really don't do it. I just put it in my, like I said, my hip pocket stuff, and until something comes up, another brainstorm comes up where I can do it neat, I kind of leave it alone, So, or if I'm not skilled enough to do something, then I kind of figure out if I can do it. If I can't, I probably haven't done it, So it's kind of
Nice. So you're
So where you
20.
want to start?
You're 20 by 16, right?
Yeah, so
Something
20
like
by
that.
16. This space is about 20 by 16.
And how tall are the ceilings?
These are 9-foot ceilings.
9-foot ceilings. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got. Let's go ahead and start on the front stage.
Okay. All right. So front stage, I used to have some clip speakers here, but right now I'm running these Tecton Design. I have the Tecton Design Electrons.
All right.
So I have, of course, that ring radiator tweeter. These are dual 4.5s and then dual 8s in here. And these are probably about 46 inches tall. I
Very
think
nice.
10 wide and I think 17 deep. So this is again the Tecton Electrons. Same thing with the center. This center speaker right here. I know this company catches a lot of flack in the community because some things that had happened in the past, but
Yeah.
this center speaker was specially designed for me because when my screen comes down in front of this TV, which you'll see, it was a little bit too tall from my perspective from my seated position. So he actually lowered the actual dimensions of that speaker by 1.5 inches, so it would fill in and not cover any part of my screen, because I was worried about it just going a little bit over into the white, and kind of messing up my vision. So
Right.
he made it 1.5 inches shorter.
Nice.
So yeah, so he definitely did that for me. So I'm appreciative that he went out of the way to actually make that center channel just a little bit smaller, so my vantage would be right. So again, front, center, left is a Tecton Design Electrons. Now for my surround sound speakers, which I have one here behind that plant, which of course you shouldn't. So there's a surround here. Here's a rear left, rear right, and the right surround over here. And these are all the same. Just gonna pull the panel off here. These are Speakercraft Profile Aim Speakercrafts right here. They are dual 5 1/4 along with dual 6-inch speaker.
Dang.
So the baffle, you can't see here, the baffle has a 15 degree right here.
Okay.
And the tweeter has another 15 degrees.
Oh, nice.
So you can get
So they're
30
angled in.
degrees. So you get 30 degrees pointed at your main listening position.
Nice.
That is genius.
Right.
That is good.
So again, I was going for a speaker that could actually do that. I didn't go in walls because I didn't want to front firing. But when I found those speakers, I said, hey, I can do this, So same thing with my sides. They're not directly to the side. They're going to be, I think this is about 20 degrees up front. So again, with the tilt ability of those speakers, I can fire it right here.
Right.
So again, without those type of speakers, it'd be shooting out here, right at your feet. So these speakers were necessary for this kind of space. So
what would you say the distance between your rear speakers and your main listening sitting position would be?
At an angle about 7 feet.
Okay. Very nice.
Feet.
That's plenty of room there
about
for
7
that.
feet. You know what I'm saying? They aren't very close together, but yeah, you only got about 7 feet between here and that speaker. So again, another cool feature about this speaker, these Speakercraft speakers, we have attenuators for plus and minus 3 dB for treble, mid, and bass.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a very, very good speaker. Phase plug here. Like I said, magnetic grills. You don't see these speakers a lot. I used to have the smaller version of this same speaker in this spot that do not have the 6-inch subwoofer. So the ones I had before were probably about this much shorter. So I saw these taller ones, so I said, hey, why not? Let's get the bigger ones. But I had the smaller ones in here before. So again, that's my sides and my rears. Far as the overheads, you can see here. I'm going to show you to you. Like I was telling you guys, when I had the house built, all my surrounds were in the ceiling. You can see that layout right here. This was my surround on the right. On the right here and on the left. And those were my surround backs, a little bit closer in. So you remember that old Dolby thing that said you can put this, surrounds in the ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. I never moved that, but I did come back and add the .6 here and here. More in line with the wider one. So the two rears are kind of a little bit closer. But the other two are kind of in line where they need to be.
And did you do that after you had been in the house for a while, or did you do? Okay.
Yeah,
so did you hear a major difference by adding the sixth, the fifth and the sixth speaker?
No. I can hear it now. Like I say, since the sound panel here, I hear this one very well now. So because again, we were talking about that sound from the front stage being kind of isolated now. But huge difference, no. Could I get away with the rear and in the middle? Probably not. I probably would need the rear and the front
Right.
tires. So, you know,
Yep.
that's kind of. But these same thing with my my speakers up here. I'm gonna get up here and take one of these covers off. This is a Speakercraft speaker as well. Magnetic grill. These are 8-inch speakers. This speaker has a 15-degree angle baffle, and the tweeter array also has another 15 degrees. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at those online too.
So I can angle that. This here is a wave guide right here. This little thing right here is a wave guide to help bring that speaker more flush to this area right here. Because when you have a set back speaker, sometimes that you can have that boundary effect. So this little grill thing here is kind of funny little shape on it. It kind of brings the sound more level with the front. And of course, you still got the treble and the mid-range attenuated switches right here on it. Also, you see right here, this whole thing spins. So I can move this tweeter up to 359 degrees.
Wow.
To angle those tweeters even greater.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this speaker online here. It's for all those features, and it's $288.95 for looks like for one of these.
Well, you're probably looking at the 7s. I think the 8's more around about 400.
Yeah, that is 7. Yep, you're correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
What's the name of the speaker?
Speakercraft.
Oh, okay.
Speakercraft, but for what it is what it is, and I haven't seen anything can match the actual aimability and the functionality for something that
I'm waiting for the 360-degree version.
359. Not 3. Nope, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a stop.
you're
You gotta go
twisting the
one way,
wire.
then go back the other one. I guess that's why they call it 359.
And they're actually called AIM. You know,
Yeah,
the name is
That's pretty cool.
the name of it is Speakercraft AIM.
Yep, the
So,
AIM
yeah.
series, the AIM 8.5 Series 2. Series 2. This was the ones that I have in particular.
The AIM 8s are $677 on Amazon.
Yeah.
We'll go over that in a minute once we
So I
get
got
done
them
with this.
from
Sure.
place code.
Nice for you.
All right, so moving on. Speakers, right? All right, up front, I have a JTR RS1 in this
Very
corner.
nice.
And I have a JTR RS1 in this corner.
And that
So I
little film that actually stays on top of there.
Yeah, it moves. I gotta reposition it every now and then. I'm cranking it. Yeah, it'll be up against the wall. It hasn't fallen off yet, but I check it every now and then. So it has a little something on the bottom, so it kind of keeps it still. It's not that heavy. All right, so those are the two subs up front, and then of course I have the SDS N-Wall 3000. I might have to take my sound panel off to get nope.
Nice.
So again, you can see where it is in relation to my seating area. So
Yeah.
I can hear it. You know, I mean, I can hear it. I get some effect from it. And I think it's good that it's this close because I don't have to really, really try to crank. And it doesn't really, really have to try to compete with those JTRs because it can.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
The wife is good to you.
Yeah. So I mean, so again, as long as I can make it neat and keep it tidy, she's okay with it. But what I had to do to get this sub in, it took me a long time because this wire for this outlet was going right across here in this wall.
Yep.
So I took my borescope, which is my buddy, did my inspection hole, saw that. And so I took that line. Once I cut the hole for this, I took that line, ran it down the wall, made a junction here, and then ran it across here. So I redid the wiring just a little bit just to get it in the wall because the wire went straight across the wall.
Yeah.
So I was able to bring it down out of that box into another box, tie here, and then get my outlet straight across here.
Yeah, I just actually purchased a 10-foot borescope.
Did you just use the dog ears, or did you end up putting screws into?
I use the dog ears,
Oh, okay.
but it's very, very hard because it is very, very, very tight. You have to measure the heck out of it because you can miss it.
Yep.
You can miss it. So you say 16 inches on center. That's all you get. So the drywall that you leave is going to have to be pretty much exact on each side.
Yeah, I had to end up putting screws, man, because that thing was just vibrating my wall.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to go in and then completely pack the wall that I have it on with insulation, and then ended up using screws to hold it in addition to the dog ears.
So how wide is that sub? Does it barely fit in the 16 on center?
It couldn't be any bigger.
It can't be any bigger. It's 16 on center.
Right. So
that's all you're gonna
how
get.
much drywall do you have to grab? That's what I mean.
I would say maybe 3/4 of an inch most.
Oof.
Yeah. That's why I ended up using because it also has screw holes.
And the bottom.
No, there's 6 of them.
Yeah, they're going to be on the top and the bottom.
Well, they're on the side. They're not on the very bottom. They're on the sides here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, isn't that where the studs are?
Right. That's what I was just saying. If it's
they're on the stud
center.
sides. That's where they are. But if you do the drywall right, you can kind of put it in and sit it on the bottom. You don't have to try to elevate it. As long as you got a level line at the bottom.
That's what I did. Mine is just sitting at the drywall on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then it also has screw holes. So I had to use a long screw and then just screw it at an angle into the studs. To hold it, because it kept vibrating when I kicked it hard. I could hear vibrations. I was like, okay.
Right. So here's
the screw holes.
But there's little holes right here.
Yep.
That's where you would screw it into the studs.
Yep.
If you missed it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Going all the way down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dog ears, I could still get vibrations from it. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to screw that sucker in, man.
Yeah, I haven't had that issue, but yeah, I see them now. I see what you're talking about. There are about 8 holes there.
Yep. So you can use the screw and just screw it straight into your drywall.
I did not have space on my rack for the amplifier because I would have to run it all the way up and across. And I had to do that for my signal wire. But what I did is I ran this through this closet, into this closet and around, and I put the SBS amp right there. The only thing that's running to the front is my signal cable, my RCA cable. So I ran an RCA cable up through the same path that I did my speakers and my HDMI cable. But I put the amp here because I had an outlet here already in this closet.
Oh, nice.
So
what is that fan you got on it, man?
Yeah, I got a fan on it. It doesn't really come on. I ain't really rocked it that hard that it really comes on, but I got a fan I put on there. Well, 1U wall mountable rack. Of course, they don't mention that you can mount it on wall.
Yeah.
This is a 1.5 RU wall mount rack. So I think the SBS is a 1 RU or it's maybe a 1.5, and this is a 2. Because I think this is a 1/2 RU and this is a 1.5. So it's a 2 RU rack. And I mounted on the wall and I ran all the wires. Here's the wire track. Again,
the wire track, man.
Yeah, so wire channel comes all the way around here and into this panel. So this is where I drilled the hole around here for the wires. I opened this hole up just like I had over here. Open it up, use my borescope to drill through the stud. And then I made a little, what you call a story stick. I stuck it on the inside, marked it where my drill height was. And then I went on the same side here, cut another hole, put that same stick in the wall, and then drilled into the stud this way. And it came together. I was able to fish a wire through those studs in the corner and wrap that wire around.
Man, you're out here doing the real DIY.
Borescopes, man.
You have an upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering why you didn't just drop it in there through the attic.
Nope. You had to go, like when I had these speakers right here, and these stairs, they're fire blocks, angled.
Yeah.
Staircase.
Yep.
So going up, had to find it's right above the speaker. This is as high as I could go. But I had to, when I opened this hole, I had to drill up through there. And then, go into the ceiling space, but I had to take these speakers out. That's the only way I can see between the stud bays that go this way. So I had to take the speakers out so I can borescope to get through the studs.
Yeah, I actually just purchased myself a 10-foot borescope.
Yeah. And I drilled up
and
this wall.
It's articulating too.
Yeah, stuff happens, man. I drilled up this wall because I had to use a long bit to get into the void space in this attic right here. So again, like I said, this fire block that's here, I had to get a 6-foot drill bit and drill up into there. And of course, I bust out the other side, but I patched it up. So first try was a miss, but I got it right. So again, all these wires go through the center. Here's that hole right next to the electrical right here. So again, if I open up all of these, I can see where the HDMI is gonna go all the way down the center of the room, that back down to the cabinet over here. So I got a run that's going all the way down there. And I use my my crown molding to kind of cover where it wraps around and goes from the ceiling to the wall. But I took that piece of molding down, and that's how I get from one side to the other the first time. So when I did that the first time, every time since then, I put a piece of string up there. With every time I pull one out, I put a new string in. So next time I have to do something, I just pull it using the string.
Very nice.
So what's next? We got those.
Let's talk about the you did the speakers. Let's talk about some equipment.
The acoustic panels, dude, those are good, man. This colors.
The acoustic panels are RLX panels, 4 feet by 18 inches. So I put them in spaces. I had RLX. They did me the initial plans for these panels right here. These RLX panels, they did the plan for these. This was their idea way back in, 2015 or something like that. I had these panels that long. And then I recently put these 2 on the door right here, the white ones, just so it wouldn't stick out. I use white. I could have used the same color or something, but white is just so they're not conspicuous. You don't even think about it. You don't see it because they're white, just like the door is.
Yep.
So, all right. So we're moving on to what I have up front in this cabinet. Because I got a cheat sheet that I got to look at. Just like everybody else. I want to make sure I don't miss nothing.
That's awesome. That's how I am. I'm like, what? I don't even know. I have to read the front. Like, what is it?
Yeah. So, all right, right here at the top on this side, we got my 8-port switches up there. You really can't see that. Right below it, I got a Rockfield D14 Class D amp that's running the Croson actuators that I have. And then below that, running the height channels, it have an Outlaw 7000X 7-channel amplifier. I think that's 130 channels, or excuse me, 130 watts per channel. Right. That's all that's on that side. On this side, got a little mini HD HP PC. I got a little gaming PC that my son built for me. All the retro games on there and things like that. Don't use it a whole lot, but every now and then. Then I have a monolith amplifier, 7-channel amplifier that runs the front, side, and rear. So these Tecton speakers are 4 ohms, so they're getting the 300 watts up front, and you can tell.
What's the sensitivity on those? Do you know?
The Tectons, I think 92.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have some clips in here. The clips are a little bit louder, but these are way better than clip speakers, man. I used to have clip speakers, so yeah, these are definitely an upgrade from clips. People's like, you don't like the clips? You like those better than clips? Yeah, man. They definitely sound, and talk about hitting hard. If you play music with this, you don't need a sub. You want kick. These kick, they're dual 8s. Is just awesome for music. All right, so in the middle, you got a R-Volution mini player that's running on the NAS upstairs. Got a DirecTV. Of course, I still got DirecTV. Got to watch TV a little bit every now and then. Got a Panamax 4300. That's like an 8-bay or 8-outlet surge protector. And then I got the Marantz 8500. Had that for a little while.
Nice.
All right. So right here, behind the Marantz, because it gets so hot, right? You know how Marantz products and Denon products get hot, because I've had Denon. I think I had 2 other Denons, and I still have a third one in my bedroom. But they do get heated. And this Marantz, even though it's a processor only, it still gets hot. So I got an AC Infinity fan that runs in the back of that pushes air through here. You can't see in the top of this thing, but there are holes in the top. I use some 1/2-inch tubing, clear tubing on that fan that's back there. It's a little like a plenum that it all runs into, and it pushes air actually on top of this amp. And on this particular cabinet, I built AC Infinity fans, these dual fans. I put one of those on each side of this cabinet.
Oh, nice.
All tied together with the controller on the back. So I have the AC Infinity fan I built into this cabinet here.
Nice.
One on the other side, and then one to cool the Marantz that pushes air to that side so it can, cool everything. So I've been, this cabinet is huge, and I keep everything in here cool just by running those AC Infinity fans.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking about even getting some AC Infinity fans just for my NAS. Just you know.
We got a mini DSP back here. Can't see it. Probably see that blue light, but there's a mini DSP right here. Here's all my wiring. I wired everything to wiring plates. There are no wires coming out of the wall. Everything has a wired plate that's coming out of the wall.
Yeah, you really built this very clean, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the projector and the screen? What are you working with for that?
All right. The screen is a Screen Innovations Solo Pro 2. And
I love the reveal. I love that
Solo, but it had some problems, so they gave me a Solo Pro 2, which is probably like $2,000 more than the one that I had.
Oh wow!
So they was gracious enough to just trade it out. Trade it out. So this balance that you see here, I built this. This is the second one I had to build because the first screen that they sent me, it was a different. This one was just a hair longer, even though the screen was still 100s. So I had to rebuild this this kind of balance thing that covers it. So that screen comes down and drops down in front of this 50-inch Sony that I've had forever, and I think it's gonna be here forever. So it won't die, and that's okay.
That almost sounded like you're ready for it to die.
Yeah, I always I got a Sony E900, man, and my son hits it with toys. He does all kind of stuff, and I always make that joke.
It's like,
I'd hate to have to buy a new TV.
Bigger TV than a 50-inch. I say, man, that's a wow factor. I'm gonna keep it 50, so now that my 100-inch screen looks bigger than it's supposed to. So of course I clear that TV. The sound bar is really what's sticking out, but the TV clears pretty good.
Hey, I can imagine you talking to the TV like, come on, buddy, you got to die so I can buy a new one. I actually need you to die so I can get a new one.
I like I said, I keep saying I hate to have to buy a new TV if my son
like,
breaks
where's my OLED? Where's my 98-inch OLED? Come on.
You gotta gently apply that morphine. It's not going.
I won't do it, man. I won't do it. And you know what? And another thing I thought was pretty cool that somebody asked me about before, it's like, if you can't really see back here, but behind the cabinet, there's a power strip right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a power strip, and that's one of those little rinky-dink 4-foot power strips. It's got 12 outlets in it, and I'm using about 10 of them. and I plug it into a little surge box. Oh shoot, I lost my picture. Yeah, plugging into a little surge box, a little surge protector of his own. So all these little peripheral things like my so baton hub, my hub for my screen, and my HDMI switch. I mean, not my HDMI switch, but my Ethernet switch and everything like that. The little things I plugged into that because I only have 8 ports on the back, and that all my equipment in here takes that up. So you need more outlets. So I took a 4-foot and mounted it to the wall in the back of the bottom, and I plug all those little peripheral things into that.
Nice.
I mean, you definitely got it looking clean for sure.
For sure.
And then what about the projector? What are you using for the projector for that 100-inch screen?
Using an Epson 5040 UB that I've had for a few years. And if you notice right there, there's my Harmony hub up there.
Good
I mounted it up there and used Ethernet cable that was already up there to kind of wire my extender, what you see right here. So everything, it fires from up there right into my cabinet.
Oh, okay.
So the hub fires down into the cabinet, and the only reason I have an extender here is so you can turn the projector on because it shoots from here back up to where the projector is.
And you use the Ethernet cable to run it?
Yeah, I extended it with an Ethernet cable that's up there where the projector is. I just cut the extender wire and put 2 wires together in the Ethernet cable and extended the actual extender all the way down to the front. And you'll see one of these see this right here? It goes up to that. All the way up to the projector.
Nice.
So I did that because I didn't have any outlets back here at one point. I needed an outlet. So I was like, this is the only outlet I got. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, if I plug it up here, everything's going to be shooting down towards there. Then I can plug it up there. So that's what I did.
Wow. That was a lot of work for a hub.
I know. But when you're sitting here thinking about stuff daily, you come up with stupid ideas that work, So, another thing I wanted to talk about is somebody say, well, do you blow a fuse in here? I don't blow a fuse in here. I got a 7-channel up here, a 7-channel up here, processor. I got, dual SBS. I got the sub right here. I got the projector. What's on the same the same circuit as the projector and all the amplifiers. The SBS subs are on different circuits.
The JTRs?
The JTRs?
Yeah. JTR. Sorry.
Yeah. Did you have them ran separately, or was that just already done?
This is where the other side of the room. Here's the kitchen over here, right?
Okay, yeah. So they're probably 20 amps anyway, because kitchens usually have 20 amps.
Yeah. So right here, this is where the one JTR is.
I'm seeing a lack of wire track over on this side, though.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be white. This one's supposed to be white. We're gonna change it to white one day.
Oh, okay.
It'll look a little better.
The upgrade, man, Don. Yeah. What are you, dude? You can.
He's got wire track everywhere, man.
When you finish your theater, you
can talk about his theater, Don.
You can. Guys, like
my logo.
I still see drywall in yours, man.
Hey, check this. I made a video on my channel of how I separated this right here. This particular one, there was an outlet right here that was on the same circuit as this family room space. But what I did was I unplugged it from this outlet, and there's an outlet on the other wall, which is a different circuit. I brought that outlet to this side.
Yeah.
So now I have 2 outlets here. One is really for the circuit for the other room, and then one is the one for this room. So I put this actual subwoofer on a different circuit. So right now, each JTR is on a circuit by itself, because nobody used that front parlor there. The kitchen doesn't get used that much, as far as power. So I don't have any power strain when I'm running the subs heavy because it's not on the same circuit. As everything else.
Yep, that's what all it is just dividing the load. That's really all it is.
Yep. What else? All right, all the hue lights are Alexa control. Alexa, turn on screen lights. There are lights behind the screen when the screen drops.
Oh, nice.
So
That's pretty
You turn-
cool. I like
so you
that.
get-
Everybody's
course-
theater just turned
Yeah,
on.
you just turned on everybody's theater.
oh shit.
I was just about to laugh. I was like, I'm glad I got my headphones on, man, because she was about to kick everything.
Yeah. So, of course, you can turn. You know,
Like, God damn it, that's the same command I use.
Alexa, turn living room lights red.
Oh boy.
There we go.
That's so funny,
The red
man.
Paul's red light district right there.
Yeah, it
All right,
dude.
Alexa, turn ceiling lights off.
My lights have turned red.
Alexa,
just-
turn living
Oh,
room
that's
lights.
true. Paul's
White.
lights actually turned red.
Yes, that means we are at the
Alexa, turn screen
almost
lights off.
end of the show, man.
You're fine.
And of course, the SoundCloud is Alexa controlled. I don't know if y'all want me to turn that on, but
Yeah, absolutely. Turn it
Yeah,
on.
turn it on, man. That's fine.
Alexa,
Turn the
turn
lights
the
off
lights
and turn that
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud on.
All right.
That looks nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is
Alexa,
cool.
turn SoundCloud to 100%.
Yeah, you can
So
turn
it-
off the main. You can
again,
turn
you
off the
have the
main
ceiling-
light.
Alexa,
you can-
turn ceiling light 1 to red.
Oh,
So I can
Ooh,
control them
two-
1 or 2.
two
Depending on
tone.
which one I want.
Fancy.
So I
That's
can-
crazy.
Yeah. Alexa, turn on ceiling music. Dang, I forgot what it's called. I forgot what I named it. But I can turn it. I can actually have her turn it on to the music mode automatically, and then it'll start flashing.
You gotta turn it orange, like Fred said. It's like, oh, come
Turn it
on.
orange.
Yeah, you got
Alexa, turn ceiling light 1 to orange. Alexa, turn ceiling light 2 to orange.
You got a
man, you gotta work it overtime, man.
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
working.
Fred knows how to please, man. It's like, wait a minute, I already heard. You know, you gotta please
Oh,
the
man.
ladies with the orange color here.
Man,
Alexa,
she's gonna ask for a
turn-
pay
Got to
raise,
match
man.
the curtains. That's why. The carpet's got to match the drapes, man.
Oh, there you go.
So everything I say on this particular one, it will start flashing. It's got all kinds of different ways of the flash or whatever. But this is the music mode one that's set right now. So when the
That's
music's
pretty
playing,
cool.
so I can turn them both to flashing on one or whatever.
There we go.
Man, I might steal that idea. I like that. I like the white fabric that blends with the ceiling and the wall and the doors and
Yeah,
the,
just hides.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look,
you
you want
know,
to
it's pretty cool.
you want to it was a few months ago, this black guy walking around the fabric store like he didn't know what he was doing, walking around asking all the women for help. Like what can I use? And he was like, I'm just like it was just out of place, you know what I'm saying? So, but I got burlap because I heard burlap is one of the most acoustically transparent materials you can get.
Mhm.
So this is burlap. So the sound absorption is better because it's burlap and not any other material. And it just happened to be the same color as the silk.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
Very nice.
so
Very
the
nice.
thing you think about along the way is like, so, and I'm sure I'm missing something along the way. I don't know what I'm missing, but there's a lot of stuff. I mean, what I'm using for, sound absorption, these curtains are playing a part as well because they are heavy and they're double lined. So they're
They're
really,
velvet,
really
right?
heavy.
Yeah,
What's that?
they're velvet cottons, right?
It's cotton, but it's double wrapped, but it has another heavier fabric on the back, so they're really heavy. So they're helping with some absorption in the room as well.
Yeah.
That turned
Hey,
out
we
really
got a
nice.
question from Johnny. He wants to know how much storage you have in your Arvolution. Do you have actual drives in them, or are you just using your NAS?
No, I'm using a NAS only. I have
Yeah.
6 bays of 12 terabytes each.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Yeah. Like I actually use my NAS. I have a drive in mine, but I only use it for demo, because I want to get like a true test outside of a NAS environment, but I think most people just use a NAS if they already have one.
Oh, I forgot one last thing. Here are my Crocin actuators are here.
Nice.
All right, so I ran my Crocin actuators from my front wall underneath the carpet using flat wire, a marine grade flat wire. Just so the carpet's clean or whatever, it won't affect it. So the flat marine rated wire that goes from the front wall to underneath this couch. And I have a video on that as well, where I ran it all the way over here to a wall plate underneath the carpet, and it goes behind this wall plate, and then it's wired from here into that Rockville amp.
So how are you liking the Crocin? Did they make a major difference for you?
I love it. I mean, I don't say I use it a lot, but I use it. You know. So,
yeah, because I was wondering, because I was either going to do one of the SVS in-wall subs, kind of like we were talking about, and use them as near field, or I was going to look at those Crocins.
Well, here's the Crocin. That's what that blue wire is. That marine graded wire comes up through the carpet there, and I have like a little junction box right there where I can plug my banana plugs into. Because I moved this couch when we're doing karaoke. I moved this couch, so all I do is move the Crocins. The only thing that'll be hanging out is that little bit of wire in these two little boxes, so I can slide the couch out of the way totally. So we do karaoke. I slide the couch over here, pick the Crocins up, and we got
you let people sing on your Tectons.
No, I just play the music on the Tectons. I have a PA speaker.
Oh, okay.
That run the microphone too, and of course, all my microphones and stuff are in here, ready to go for the people who want to sing karaoke. I got extra mic covers, all pick your color.
There you go.
Cool.
I actually sent my wife a TikTok the other day, telling her that we need to set up karaoke. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
These things right here were brown. I had them covered in a marine vinyl orange, of course. So
nice.
So just again, there was some doing I had to do to be able to do what I wanted to do. So
what is the actual shade of the cottons? Is it orange? Is it burnt orange? Like,
can you turn your phone back the other way?
Yeah, no, I lost it. Let me see if I can get it back. Let's see. All right,
there you go. Yeah, we got it now.
They're deep orange, like a persimmon. This is what the color's called. Persimmon is what it's called. Like persimmon. A deep orange. Persimmon. Okay. Yeah, persimmon.
There you go.
Very nice. I mean, you did a fantastic job with this theater. It's super clean for a multi-purpose space.
Yeah.
I mean, I love how you implicated the end walls along with the box speakers on the front stage. So when you're because you're using the speaker craft and then the Tecton, can you hear a difference in the timber match when they're going around?
No, not really. I mean, because I think I'm of the school that if the front stage is the same, the supporting cast is not that, it's not going to be bad unless all your supporting cast are different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, yes, it would be better if you could have everything all the same, but what company makes everything that you need in a space like this?
Correct.
So it's kind of the compromise. And again, my channel is about compromises, how to overcome compromises. And I'm trying to teach, and what I want to do is teach people, like, in a space that's not a dedicated space, how do I get by all of these compromises that people say you can't have this because of this, or you can't have this because of your space. So my channel says, no, when we think hard enough, we can get by that and we can do something great and still enjoy the hobby on the highest level we can get to, So that's basically what I feel like I'm accomplishing here, still work in progress.
Yep, and you got it right, man. Like, it's so clean that you wouldn't even realize how much cables are running in that
Mhm.
space, right?
Yep.
you wouldn't even see the fans and all the other great stuff you have, and
Right.
the color combination is just perfect. I mean, even to the graduation banner, you still have to get the orange balloons. And
It just happened to be
that
in
is
school
so.
colors, man. It just so happened to be in school colors, you know, man.
It
That's
just
why
had
it's
to
still
blend
up.
right in. I mean,
Right.
you can just basically leave that in there and
Yeah.
just change the
Look, man, why do
five,
you think
change
my
the
wife?
5 to 6 next year and 7 and just
Hey,
move on.
look, if you watch one of my videos, you'll see it, and I've mentioned it before because anything that's orange, my wife likes to keep up. And I'm gonna show you this. And I'm gonna show it to you really fast, right?
Yeah.
All right, the light's gonna come on, they're gonna go right off, I'm telling you.
Okay. Boom.
Never saw it. Don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
did see it.
It's been up for 3 years. It's been there
Wow.
for 3 years. It won't come
Hey.
down.
At least you don't have to take it back now. It's time to set the tree up, hon.
The box is gone, man. I don't know where it's gonna go when I have to take it down. The box is gone. I don't know where that box is.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
That's too funny.
Yeah, man. I think you got it all, man. Like I said, it's so much talking I can do about how the road to get here and the challenges I face trying to run this wire, but I figured it all out, over time, because I live in this space.
Right.
And and I have time to kind of figure it all out. So I've taken my time to try to figure it out how to do it the right way and how to make it clean. So that's what I'm all about, man.
So what does your wife think about all the bass? Is she about it? Does she tell you to turn it down?
She tells me to turn it down. She
Yeah.
cares less about the bass, but like I said, as long as I buy a few movies here and there that she likes, we get along just fine. But other than that, she says, as long as you can make, because she was concerned about this thing I was building here. Now she loves this thing. She wants to show it to everybody who walks through the door. Ron, turn it on, Ron, turn it on. I said, you were so worried about what I was going to do. She's like, that's because I do everything in stages. I actually had cardboard cut out the size of this thing I want to put, and I pinned it to the ceiling. She's like, oh my God, you're going to put something that big on the ceiling? That was the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you got to wait. You got to follow the process. It's going to be this big, yes, but it's going to be great. You watch. So now she loves it. So, she's learned to trust me throughout the years that I won't do anything that's really crazy. But
yeah, I got boards and
you do
painters
crazy
tape up.
stuff. You just do it to look really good.
Right.
Yeah, I got boards and painter tape up, and to try to show my wife the design of the thing. I mean, painter's tape is stretched across all the for the whole entire design, and she's like, I still don't see it. I'm like, what don't you see?
Yeah, you showed it to me, and I'm like, yeah, I see that. That's cool.
Hey, but look,
like, I don't see it. I'm like, yeah.
I had some.
Everybody's different.
Here's my next project. Let me see if I still have it. I'm gonna my garage. I only got a 1-car garage that I'm working out of. But let me see. I'm gonna show you where is it? Oh, right here. You see, I got some more 703 left, right?
Okay.
And I had a whole 12 pack of. You see that big box right there? So I got some 703, but I've been testing out those little patch panels I have. I think I'm gonna put 2 small panels here and there. Just to cover a little bit.
It can't hurt.
Yeah. Can't hurt. So again, I had those pinned up with some painter's tape, like you said, up to the ceiling. I used some thumbtacks and some painter's tape to put some squares up there. This 2 inches thick. So that's what my next little project is gonna be. I got some more white. I got some more burlap, this cream color burlap. So I'm gonna cover them, do them the conventional way, probably with that, and then put those up there too. So
yeah.
Yep.
Very nice setup, Ron.
Thank you, man.
Did a fantastic job with this. It looks really nice. Any questions in the from the chat about any other questions about Ron's Theater? Now is your chance, because we are coming to the end of the show, which Paul's lights are probably off right now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Ron, you could go back to your computer, and then I think you probably already see that, and I'll bring you back on stage. Yep.
Yeah, so he did a really nice job with that. I wasn't expecting to see those JTRs up there.
I know. You got them hiding, man.
Went from TB1000s to JTR RS1. So boom. Oh, I don't have a video about it, but on the forums you may have seen, I took some cardboard boxes and I painted them black, the same dimension. I made them the same dimensions as my JTRs, and I slid them over top of my RS1s. I mean, over top of my my 1000 SBSs. Put them over top of there just to see if my wife would notice them. She didn't notice them for 2 weeks. I had 2 big black boxes, the same dimensions, sitting over top, but she didn't notice them, so I ordered them.
Nice.
And she didn't know it. I swear to God, she didn't know it till it came in here and I had them put in place. She said something smelled different because they smell like paint. You know, when you first unwrap them. She said something in here different. I know it. You know, so she went looking around, and then she went. You know, this is different because she could smell it. You know what I'm saying? But right. I actually posted that I was going to do this on one of the forums. That might have been Home Theater Enthusiast or something like that. But I actually showed I was cutting these boxes, and I went them outside and I spray painted them flat black and slid them right over top of there and said, I'm going to leave them here for 2 weeks and see if she noticed it. I didn't notice it. Order.
That's funny. Yep. That's so funny. I'm sure she would have felt the difference right away.
Oh, yeah. She can feel it from upstairs now. Do you have to play the bass all the time? Just testing something. Just testing.
Just testing.
Yeah. I was
a 2-hour movie. Hold on.
So Master Lesson says Ron should write the book on how to keep a happy marriage and a premier home theater.
I showed one of my relatives that have this thing that I use as a joke. It's called a WAF checklist, and I wrote it out, and it's got all these. You got like 4 check boxes. It's like didn't burn the house down.
Yep.
Didn't burn the house down. Looks professional. Something else, and then the last one says can't wait for the next project, which is the one that's not checked. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
very nice, very
awesome.
Nice. Well, everyone, if you have not yet subscribed, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's see if we were able to get Ron some more subscribers here.
Round up the number, right?
Let's do a refresh here.
This run. I'm just trying to get some eyes out.
So
more eyes.
There we go. So 587 subscribers now, Ron.
Yeah, let's make it 590, guys.
Yeah,
come on, just subscribe.
Keep going. Get them up to 600 tonight.
We got
to make sure you subscribe to his channel. Check out his videos.
Yeah, I'm getting better at the editing, you know. So haven't really figured out how to put my personality all the way in there yet, but I'm getting more and more comfortable with the camera. So, you know, I'm you know, from what I hear, that's the woes that come with starting a YouTube channel. So I get it together.
Yep.
It's just doing it, right? It's just
and I still like it.
Put it
I still
out there.
like doing it. You know, I say some people say, "Oh, I gotta," you know. I mean, I still like it because I just want to teach people to do some of the quirky things that come through my head. Sometimes I feel like I gotta let it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? If I can teach somebody how to do something clean and crisp, and you know, I'm with it.
And if you would like to purchase some gear, some of the Marantz gear that we were talking about, shoot me an email to Horizon Theater 2020@gmail.com. And then also, if you would like to be a guest on the show, send us an email to hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. I think we may have a guest next week. I'm not sure. No, it hasn't completely confirmed. Just want to let you know that I probably will not be here. I definitely will not be here the following week. Going to take a little bit of a family vacation. So I'll be here next week, but not the following week. Ike and Paul are going to decide whether or not they're going to take a little break or continue on with the show. So, but we'll definitely post and let you guys know ahead of time if we decide to take some time off. But once again, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, shoot us an email at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com and do all that great stuff. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share the video on our channel, on Ron's channel, Genius Home Theater, and then also visit his Facebook page too. It was, remind me what it was again?
Home Theater on YouTube.
Home Theater on YouTube. So where all of us creators can post our posts and not get banned or yelled at by the
Still
moderators.
public. It's still public right now. Still public. It's still a public page.
So appreciate everyone for joining us this evening. Until next time.
Yes, stay on run in the green room, so don't
Yep.
drop off.
See you in the next one. See you guys.